Chapter 1641. Henchmen second only to the Skeleton King. A lot of black water appeared in the sea, and the clusters were very charming. If Mo Yu needed black water now, he could get a lot by casually scooping it with his soul power. The vibration of the secret realm became more violent, rumbling. Then a beast roar resounded through the world. The island suddenly floated up and became larger, and a large amount of black water suddenly swam towards the island at the same time. At this moment, the rainstorm also turned into a waterfall, no longer covering the secret realm, but like the Milky Way falling upside down on the island. The island was completely dyed black, and crystal-like luster appeared on it. A huge head stretched out, looking similar to a dragon's head. Then there were limbs, the 4 feet were short and thick, and they looked extremely like dragon claws. Then there was a tail, the tail was very long and covered with barbs. The island became its carapace. Lin Mo Yu was slightly stunned. Black tortoise. The rune beast looks very similar to the black tortoise, with almost no difference. However, the black tortoise is a legendary divine beast, the core of the black tortoise battlefield, and the power source of countless divine venerable realm star behemoths. The black tortoise is undoubtedly in existence in the other shore realm. Lin Mo Yu guessed that whether it is the black tortoise or the vermilion bird, or the azure dragon and white tiger, they are at least Saint Venerable realm. The guy in front of him who looks like a black tortoise hasn't even touched the divine venerable realm. It's just a superficial thing. If there is the power of the rules of the ancient runes, perhaps it can compete with the divine venerable, but it is only limited to the weakest divine venerable, and it is still more likely to lose. Lin Mo Yu didn't do anything, just watched it recover. Before it is fully recovered, I can't do anything. Otherwise, the second stage will not be opened. It was written very clearly in the strategy group's information, and this is also part of the rules. A minute later, the Xuanwu rune beast roared to the sky, the waterfall flowed back, and the world instantly became clear. Then, the Xuanwu rune beast roared at Lin Mo Yu again, as if provoking him. Finally revived, Lin Mo Yu had been waiting for a long time. 1,000 skeleton divine generals appeared, rushing down draped in golden light. The Xuanwu rune beast spewed out a huge torrent of water, black water, like sharp arrows hitting the skeleton divine generals. The black water flow was composed of runes, containing the power of rules. Without the golden armor rune, the skeleton divine generals would inevitably be severely damaged by the black water flow. The power of rules, even if not much, had already touched the threshold of the divine lord. Even if the skeleton divine generals could win, they would inevitably have to pay some price. But now it was different. The golden armor rune shone brightly, and the golden armor between illusion and reality blocked the black water flow. The golden armor shone, only undergoing some minor deformation. The skeleton divine generals surrounded the Xuanwu rune beast, the sword energy roared, and a siege began. The Xuanwu rune beast's defense was extremely strong, its whole body emitted black light, like armor resisting the attacks of the skeleton divine generals. Lin Mo Yu watched for a while, then lost interest. With the blessing of the golden armor rune, the defense of the skeleton divine generals was greatly improved. Enough to look down upon the lesser divine lord realm, even when facing a divine lord, they could hold on for a while. Defense was sufficient, but attack power was insufficient. The attack power of the skeleton divine generals reached the peak of the lesser divine lord, and the defense of the Xuanwu rune beast was also extremely powerful. For a time, the skeleton divine generals found it difficult to kill it. It could definitely be grinded to death, but it would take time. The strategy information also said so, but the lesser divine lords who passed the first stage could burst out the battle power of a divine lord in a short time. At that time, he relied on divine lord battle power to kill the Xuanwu rune beast. As for Lin Mo Yu, the skeleton divine generals besieged for a while, and Lin Mo Yu already knew the defense power of the golden armor rune. Not wanting to waste any more time, he tapped his finger lightly, and 100 legion overlords appeared. Along with them appeared their legions. 10 million bone dragons roared in the air, a dark mass, making a large area of space dim. The legion overlords had not taken action for a long time, and had not encountered a suitable opportunity. Although the number of legion overlords was not large, currently only 200 had truly formed legions and could be put into actual combat. But their battle power exceeded that of the skeleton divine generals. They were the existence in the undead legion, second only to the skeleton king. 100 legion overlords exuded a powerful aura. The pressure of the divine lord realm rolled down towards the Xuanwu rune beast. The Legion Overlords had already reached the Divine Lord realm, enough to compare with the weakest Divine Lord Tier 1. Although they were only the weakest type of Divine Lord, a Divine Lord was still a Divine Lord. The Legion Overlords raised their sabers. Streaks of brilliant Milky Ways emerged. The Divine Lord's signature, Law Rivers. Hundreds of Law Rivers appeared at the same time, incomparably magnificent, making people's hearts tremble. When the Law Rivers appeared, the Bone Dragons led by the Legion Overlords plunged into their respective Law Rivers. The Law Rivers suddenly swelled, and a huge force fell on the Legion Overlords. Their laws were called Legion Laws, a very special kind of law. Itself without special attributes, it could strengthen the power of the entire Legion. The power of the Legion Overlords soared again, from the weakest Divine Lord Tier 1, instantly rising to the peak of Divine Lord Tier 1. Any Legion Overlord pulled out could contend with a Divine Lord Tier 1. The sabers of the Legion Overlords flowed with grey light. That was the power of death in the undead law. They not only gathered the power of the Legion members, but also gathered the undead laws of the Legion members. Every undead Legion carried the undead law. Now that the undead laws were gathered together, the power was already extremely amazing. The Xuanwu Rune Beast roared madly, it seemed to feel uneasy, but it was of no avail. The Legion Overlords wielded their sabers, sprinkled a majestic power of death, rushed to the Xuanwu Rune Beast, and unleashed a fatal blow. With their battle power, they could suppress the Xuanwu Rune Beast in a one-on-one fight, let alone 100 against 1. The laws roared and exploded, and the Xuanwu Rune Beast was instantly blasted into ashes under the attack of the Legion Overlords. Lin Moyu saw all this in his eyes, and did not feel surprised at all. The Law Rivers have a gathering and fusion effect, and each law has its own characteristics. The Legion Law is at least a Tier 2 peak law. The Skeleton King has the Bone Law, and also carries the Undead Law. The combination of the two greatly increases battle power. The Legion Overlords are also like this. I wonder what laws will appear after the Skeleton Divine Generals reach the Divine Lord. Is it also the Bone Law like the Skeleton King? The Skeleton King and the Skeleton Divine Generals came from the same source, and the probability of the Bone Law River appearing is extremely high. This question should be answered very soon. Lin Moyu knew that as long as he advanced another level, reaching Divine King Tier 6. Then the Skeleton Divine Generals would reach the Divine Lord realm. He would have a full 50 million thugs equivalent to Divine Lord Tier 1. The Divine Lord army composed of Skeleton Divine Generals would be the nightmare of all races. 50 million Divine Lords, only the other shore realm could handle it. Even the peak Divine Lord would have to kill for a long, long time. The Xuanwu Rune Beast died, and the island where it was located had disappeared. The seawater poured in, forming a black vortex. At the same time, a small vortex appeared beside Lin Moyu. He could leave the secret realm through the vortex. The aura of the Divine City Starfield was transmitted from the vortex, and at the same time, there was also the voice of the Human Emperor Network. Chapter 1642, Bathed in Golden Rain, Golden Armor Protects the Body. Exploring the Black Rain's secret realm, the first stage mission has been completed. You can choose to continue exploring, complete the second stage mission, and get more rewards. Rewards will vary depending on the degree of exploration. Please note that the danger of the second stage exploration will be greatly increased. If there is danger, you can leave through the escape rune, and the first stage reward will still be valid. Please make a choice within 1 minute. The same prompt. If you don't understand, you just think the Human Emperor Network is doing its duty. If you can understand, you can know that there is also a certain meaning in it. The escape rune can still be used in the second stage, indicating that the power of the Human Emperor Network has penetrated into the second stage area. It also shows that someone has entered the second stage, maybe more than one. If the Human Emperor Network reminds that the escape rune cannot be used in the second stage, it means that no one has entered the second stage. This was the case in the Golden Radiance Secret Realm. 607, Lin Moyu was the first person to enter and pass the second stage. This time Lin Moyu did not ask the Human Emperor Network questions, and directly made a choice. He turned and flew into the vortex, and disappeared without a trace. Black water surged around him, and Lin Mo flew through the vortex for quite some time before stopping as light appeared ahead. Lin Mo surveyed the second stage of the secret realm. Compared to the first stage, this place was more aptly called a water world. As far as the eye could see, there was an endless expanse of water, pitch black water. Waves crashed and surged continuously, creating a constant rushing sound. In the distance, golden lightning flashed and massive waves rose. The lightning was golden, a very peculiar color. The clouds in the sky were also golden. Boom! Not far away, a bolt of lightning struck the black water, creating a huge wave. Then it began to rain, a golden rain, just like in the Poison Bee secret realm. The area covered by the golden rain was rapidly expanding, from less than a square kilometer to tens of thousands of square kilometers in less than 5 seconds. Lin Mo had to retreat to avoid the golden rain. The golden rain had the same effect as in the Poison Bee secret realm. Being drenched in it would lead to rapid erosion by the power of the rules, fundamentally changing one's nature. Even a lesser god venerate like the skeleton divine general could not withstand it. As he retreated, Lin Mo recalled the information from the strategy team. Over the years, a total of 5 people had entered the second stage of this secret realm. They had entered, but none of them had found a way to clear it. In the second stage, the known dangers came from 3 sources. First, lightning. One could not be struck by the golden lightning, as it contained extremely strong power of the rules that only god venerates could withstand. A lesser god venerate had once been struck by lightning, and would have died if he hadn't possessed a god venerate level magical treasure. Second, the golden rain. Similarly, only god venerates could withstand it. Third, the Black Sea. One must not enter the Black Sea for any reason. Once inside, the soul would be eroded, leading to certain death. The damage to the soul from the Black Sea was several times greater than that from the black water in the first stage. These were the currently known dangers. As for a way to clear the second stage, no one had yet found it. However, some had speculated that the key to breaking through most likely lay within the Black Sea. Someone had once seen a giant rune beast in the Black Sea, its body covered in golden light, wandering through the Black Sea. It would occasionally surface. Perhaps killing it would allow one to proceed to the third stage or clear the secret realm. Others said that the method to clear the stage should be above the clouds, because they had also seen a giant rune beast there. They even suspected that the occasional lightning strikes were related to this rune beast. Time to use my brain again. He had cleared the first stage with the help of the strategy team's information, without much thinking. The second stage wouldn't be so easy. The golden rain lasted for about a few minutes before disappearing, arriving suddenly and vanishing just as abruptly. Crack! Another bolt of lightning exploded nearby, golden electric snakes darting through the air, and huge waves rising in the Black Sea. Suddenly, Lin Mo's body froze. A tremendous pulling force came from the Black Sea, trying to drag him down. The pulling force didn't act on his body but directly on his soul world. The golden rain followed the lightning, expanding rapidly thousands of times in just a few seconds, just like last time. This time, while avoiding the golden rain, Lin Mo summoned a skeleton divine general to enter the range of the golden rain. Golden armor appeared on the skeleton divine general, blocking the golden rain. The skeleton divine general didn't have its nature changed as before. Protected by the golden armor runes, it was unscathed. Using runes to resist runes was very effective. Lin Mo smiled, just as I thought. He had considered this when creating the golden armor runes. The golden armor runes not only enhanced defense, but because they were composed of runes themselves, they had strong resistance to runes. Just like the runes in the secret realm would weaken one's own rune power. The two would counteract each other. Now it seemed that it was indeed so, exactly as he had thought. The skeleton divine general stood in the rain, motionless. The golden rain lasted for a full 2 minutes. During those 2 minutes, the golden armor runes shone brightly, seemingly unharmed, but Lin Mo could feel that the golden armor runes were gradually weakening. Based on this, the golden armor runes would be worn away in another minute. 3 minutes, the golden armor runes can last for 3 minutes in the golden rain. The root cause is still the power of the rules in the golden rain, which suppresses the golden armor runes, causing their consumption to increase dramatically. The skeleton divine general's soul fire was constantly providing energy to the golden armor runes, allowing them to recover. It was the same when standing in the golden rain, but the skeleton divine general's supply couldn't keep up with the consumption. This couldn't be helped. The skeleton divine general was a warrior, and providing energy to the golden armor runes was just an instinct, and couldn't affect its own combat power. Lin Mo had a plan in mind, and his eyes swept around. Next, we'll take a two-pronged approach, finding both the rune beasts in the ocean and the rune beasts in the sky. The secret realm information provided by the strategy team had 2 speculations. One was the rune beast in the sky, and the other was the rune beast in the ocean. Both possibilities were related to rune beasts, and it was difficult to judge which one was correct. Lin Mo decided to take a two-pronged approach, not letting go of either one. Tens of thousands of skeleton divine generals, clad in golden armor, flew in all directions. With the golden armor, the skeleton divine generals could ignore the golden rain and pass directly through it. Even lightning striking the skeleton divine generals only consumed half of the golden armor runes, and failed to shatter them. With the protection of the golden armor runes, the safety of the skeleton divine generals in the secret realm was greatly increased. Similarly, efficiency was also greatly increased. The environment of the secret realm was quickly explored, and a map was generated in his mind. The second stage was a true water world, millions of miles in radius, without a trace of land. The seawater was as black as ink, of unknown depth. The clouds in the sky were thick, with electric snakes dancing, also of unknown thickness. Lightning struck aimlessly, and deadly golden rain fell one after another. The sky was high, the sea was deep, and the secret realm was dangerous and oppressive. Chapter 1643. Waiting for a rain, awaiting a wind. Far away, Lin Mo saw his skeleton divine generals. They returned from different directions, and the terrain of the secret realm had been completely explored. The second stage of the secret realm was essentially a ball, no different from an ordinary star. The skeleton divine generals flew around in one direction and returned to the starting point. However, it had no land and was completely a large water ball. The outer layer was shrouded in clouds of unknown thickness, with electric snakes dancing. The skeleton divine generals didn't enter it. During the entire exploration process, no trace of rune beasts was found. The strategy says that a total of 5 cultivators have been here. One saw the rune beast in the sea, one saw the rune beast in the sky, and the other 3 saw nothing. This shows that rune beasts don't always exist and may only appear when certain conditions are met. Just like the rainstorm in the first stage. The Black Rain secret realm is related to water, both in the first phase and now. Even the golden lightning is just a precursor to the golden rain. Therefore, the key to solving the problem must also lie in the water. Water is the key to passing level 22 of the secret realm, a point that's easy to think of. Lin Mo believes that he's not the only one, the 5 people who entered before him must have thought of this key as well. The key is how to find a solution from it. Lightning keeps falling, causing waves of golden rain. The skeleton god generals that had just returned were dispatched again. If the rune beasts only appear under certain specific conditions, then something unusual must be happening in the secret realm. This time, an even greater number of skeleton god generals were dispatched, exceeding 1 million. The million skeleton god generals were distributed throughout the secret realm, monitoring various changes within it. As long as there's any abnormality, Lin Mo would know immediately. Lin Mo didn't need to rely purely on luck like others. He relied on numbers to forcefully offset luck. Lin Mo wasn't in a hurry. If it were really like the first phase, he would indeed need to wait. He took out a rune language again and began to study it. The vastness and profundity of a rune language captivated him. Learning the general outline runes and then breaking them down was like solving a puzzle to clear a level, something Lin Mo enjoyed immensely. It would be very difficult to completely master the entire rune language. Even with Lin Mo's excellent rune talent, it would still require a lot of time. 10 days after arriving at the second phase, he finally observed a trace of abnormality. A tornado suddenly appeared in the secret realm. At the same time as the tornado appeared, the originally calm sea surface suddenly began to stir up wind and waves. Lin Mo came back to his senses from the sea of runes, looking at the sea, it's finally starting. He transformed into a stream of light, flying rapidly within the secret realm. Seconds later, he stopped in front of the tornado. The tornado was extremely large, sucking up water like a dragon, drawing a large amount of seawater into the sky. The seawater danced in the wind, turning the tornado as black as ink. The sky suddenly became dazzling, with golden light descending from the sky. Within the clouds, countless golden electric snakes roared, as if the thunder god was enraged, dropping countless thunderbolts and lightning, striking the tornado. The stance seemed to want to shatter the tornado. Lin Mo frowned slightly, feeling something was wrong, and retreated 10,000 miles without hesitation. The tornado seemed to be angered by the lightning attacks. Dimly, Lin Mo heard a beast roar, and the tornado instantly expanded several times. Immediately afterward, new tornadoes formed, one after another, dozens, hundreds, thousands. In the blink of an eye, there were more than 10,000 tornadoes. 10,000 tornadoes battled across a large area, forming a storm. Countless seawater was sucked up and rushed into the sky. The lightning also intensified in an instant, becoming denser. The tornadoes were hit by hundreds or thousands of lightning bolts, and then shattered. But immediately afterward, new tornadoes would form. After the lightning, golden rain fell, landing in the tornadoes. The ink-like seawater was dyed with a layer of golden light, and the nature of the seawater seemed to have changed slightly, and its power was also reduced. In Lin Mo's view, the seawater brought up by the tornadoes was like a series of heavy punches, hitting the sky above, as if trying to break the sky. The sky was also constantly resisting, with both sides refusing to give in. The ocean and the sky were like two opposing armies, attacking each other, each wanting to destroy the other. Lin Mo found it interesting to watch, not expecting such a thing to happen. He believed that he was the first to discover this, and none of the previous 5 people knew. Roar! A beast roar sounded, and a terrifying aura swept over. Lin Mo saw a black shadow appearing in the distant place. The black shadow rose and fell in the ocean, occasionally jumping out of the sea, revealing its enormous body. Its shape was like a shark, a super large shark. Its body length exceeded 100,000 meters, and its aura reached the god Venerate realm. The shark rune beast had countless black and gold runes dancing all over its body, flashing with strange brilliance, and also making people feel its terror. Lin Mo only glanced at it and knew that its combat power was not weaker than a god Venerate at all. The shark rune beast's senses were extremely sharp. Although Lin Mo was more than 100,000 miles away from it, it had already discovered Lin Mo. It roared, and countless tornadoes suddenly appeared on the sea surface beneath Lin Mo, with huge suction forces tearing at Lin Mo from all directions simultaneously. The huge tearing force from all directions wanted to tear Lin Mo into pieces. This tearing force also acted on the soul at the same time, wanting to tear apart the soul world. Compared to the physical body, Lin Mo's soul world was stronger and more stable, and the mere tearing force had no effect. The bone hell was pulled and twisted out of shape. Lin Mo's heart moved, and a golden armor rune appeared in his hand. This golden armor rune was created in the soul and had not yet been fused with the undead legion. It was requisitioned by Lin Mo first. Activating the golden armor rune, golden armor suddenly appeared outside Lin Mo's body, blocking the power from the outside world. The tearing force of 850 is already very close to the god Venerate, especially since it also targets the soul. It seems that the people who came in before only glanced at the shark rune beast and did not engage with it. If they had fought, there should be some information. It's possible that they felt the threat at the time, so they retreated directly. After reading a large number of strategies, Lin Mo already had some understanding of those people in the strategy group. They were all top geniuses, and what was most important to them was definitely not clearing the secret realm. The most important thing was to save their lives. As long as their lives were still there, they could clear the secret realm sooner or later. If once didn't work, they could come a few more times. So as long as they felt danger, they would choose to retreat at the first time, basically without hesitation. So Lin Mo had more than an 80% certainty that they had not fought the shark rune beast. The shark rune beast approached quickly, and Lin Mo was already planning to attack. Killing it might allow him to find a way to enter the third phase. Roar! A sharp cry came from within the clouds. A huge bird with a massive body appeared in the electric sea of clouds. The giant bird spread its wings, also exceeding 100,000 meters, not weaker than the shark rune beast at all. The giant bird rune beast was also covered in gold and black runes, but contrary to the shark rune beast, its runes were mostly gold. The feathers on its body flashed with a sharp luster. The feathers were not only shields but also weapons. The shark rune beast immediately changed its attention, staring intently at the giant bird rune beast. Chapter 1644. What I like most is ganging up on others. Lin Mo, who was about to attack, suddenly became less anxious when he saw this scene. Both giant rune beasts had ignored his existence, so he might as well watch the show first. Simply from the perspective of size, Lin Mo, who was less than 2 meters tall, was too small compared to the 2 rune beasts that were over 100,000 meters tall. The giant bird rune beast vibrated its wings, the runes on its body shining brightly, and countless golden lightning bolts fell, destroying a large number of tornadoes. At the same time, there was also torrential rain, and the golden rain dyed the tornadoes golden. The shark rune beast refused to show weakness, raising more tornadoes to counterattack. The tornadoes formed a storm, blowing away the clouds in the sky. Thick clouds were forcibly blown open, revealing the true appearance of the firmament. Lin Mo gazed through the firmament and saw the world beyond. Outside the firmament, a massive rune floated. The rune was also incomplete, only a corner of it remained. However, Lin Mo discovered that this corner of the rune seemed more complete than the runes in the Poisonous Bee and Golden Radiance secret realms. A chill went through his heart. A more complete rune also meant greater power and danger. Lin Mo had already read a large amount of information about the secret realms. Several secret realms had complete records of successful walkthroughs. These records contained similar descriptions. Combining the experiences recorded in the information, Lin Mo quickly made a judgment. What he needed to do now was to break through the firmament and go beyond it. There were two ways to break through the firmament. One was to use overwhelming brute force. Lin Mo didn't know if his strength was sufficient. The firmament appeared for only a few seconds before being shrouded again by thick clouds. The cloud layer is about 10,000 meters thick. I can give it a try. With a thought, 100 skeleton divine generals appeared around Lin Mo. The skeleton divine generals formed a formation and charged into the clouds. At the same time, Lin Mo switched to his undead vision to observe the situation within the clouds. The speed of the skeleton divine generals decreased several times as they entered the clouds. The clouds were like a swamp, incredibly heavy, making it difficult for the skeleton divine generals to advance. Dense golden lightning struck, its sheer quantity astonishing. The sturdy and powerful golden armor runes felt somewhat powerless at this moment, quickly weakening and shattering. Fortunately, the 100 skeleton divine generals were close together, and the golden armor runes overlapped, with one replacing another as soon as it broke. For the time being, they were able to hold on. The skeleton divine generals struggled to advance through the clouds, while simultaneously unleashing sword energy to try and break through them. The sword energy was swallowed by the clouds, rendering it useless. The clouds, which could be easily dispersed by a tornado, gave the impression that they could be easily penetrated. But the reality was not like that at all. The thickness of the clouds exceeded Lin Mo's imagination. The golden armor runes shattered layer by layer, and the speed of advancement continued to slow down. Realizing that he couldn't force his way through, Lin Mo immediately ordered the skeleton divine generals to return. It seems that a direct charge won't work. I must first get rid of the clouds. But how to get rid of the clouds? The sharp roar of the giant bird rune beast echoed in his ears. Its voice seemed to carry a hint of mockery, as if it was laughing at Lin Mo's overestimation of his abilities. At this moment, the two rune beasts had already collided. The giant bird rune beast swooped down, opened its mouth, and spat out golden lightning, striking the shark rune beast. The shark rune beast slapped the surface of the sea, stirring up huge waves to block the golden lightning. At the same time, it spat out streams of black water from its mouth, shooting them out like sharp arrows. The shark rune beast could fly, but it dared not leave the sea. The giant bird rune beast also dared not enter the ocean. The two constantly collided in midair, and then separated again. One could imagine that this struggle had continued for countless years. From the moment the runes evolved into secret realms, this struggle should have always existed. As for why they were fighting, Lin Mo looked at the runes on the two rune beasts, which had black and gold colors. Black and gold, these should be the key to the problem. Lin Mo pondered in his mind, and suddenly he thought of a possibility. Black and gold are the yin and yang, the opposite sides of things. Only when the yin and yang sides are combined into one can a complete ancient rune be formed. No, it's a corner of an ancient rune. When the ancient rune evolved into the secret realm, there must have been some problem, which is why it presents the characteristics of yin and yang. Lin Mo understood how to break through the firmament and proceed to the next stage. The speculation in the walkthrough group was correct. He indeed had to kill the rune beasts. But not just one, but both of them. Both rune beasts possessed the battle power of a rank 1 divine venerate. But they were slightly weaker than a true divine venerate. They couldn't mobilize the power of the Lost Star River. The power of the rules within the runes was ultimately limited. Now that he knew the method, what to do next would be easy. With a thought, Lin Mo brought out 200 legion overlords with their legions. 10 million Death Knights formed 100 Death Knight legions. 10 million skeletal dragons formed 100 dragon legions. They were led by the legion overlords respectively. The 100 Death Knight legions charged towards the shark rune beast. The 100 skeletal dragon legions then attacked the giant bird rune beast. One lost star river after another appeared above the heads of the legion overlords, illuminating the secret realm and bringing different colors to it. The legion members rushed into the Lost Star River one after another, and under the overall coordination of the Lost Star River, all the power was gathered on the legion overlords. Faced with the sudden addition of the legion overlords, the two rune beasts were first stunned, and then stopped at the same time. At this moment, they united against the outside world, turning their guns and launching attacks on the legion overlords. A large number of tornadoes roared into shape, connecting the sky and the earth to form a storm, charging straight over. The legion overlords raised their battle blades, which were filled with a rich aura of undead law. The power of death from the undead law corroded everything, and even in the face of the power of rules, it could still cause some damage. The tornado was forcibly cut off, and the legion overlords quickly killed their way over. In the sky, the legion overlords, clad in golden armor, slashed at the lightning and surrounded the giant bird rune beast. One lost star river after another poured down, and the battle power of the legion overlords rose steadily, reaching the peak of rank 1 divine venerate. Under the siege, the two rune beasts were beaten without any ability to fight back. The rune beasts wailed, and their screams never stopped. This situation had never occurred when the two rune beasts fought each other before. In terms of battle power, any legion overlord was not inferior to the opponent. Not to mention 100 against 1, it was completely bullying. But Lin Mo just liked this feeling of bullying people, it was especially comfortable. In an instant, the shark rune beast was already covered in wounds. It plunged into the ocean, quickly sinking, trying to escape. The legion overlords chased down without hesitation. It had been said in the walkthrough that one should not enter the ocean. The seawater contained the power of runes, which would cause a powerful impact on the soul. Moreover, this impact was continuous and would not stop. Once one couldn't bear it, one would fall into an eternal illusion, and one's body would die and one's cultivation would disappear. They wore golden armor, resisting the soul impact. The illusion was ineffective against them, and the soul attack was still somewhat useful, but it was completely bearable because countless undead legions shared it. However, the most troublesome thing was that the shark rune beast wanted to escape. The sea was its home field, and once it escaped, it would be difficult to find it again. The legion overlords transformed into streams of light, catching up with the shark beast at the fastest speed. The Lost Star River above their heads flickered, and 10 million Death Knights instantly rushed out, densely surrounding the shark rune beast. The shark-like rune beast charged wildly, its attacks blocked by the Death Knight's gleaming golden armor runes. Currently, there wasn't enough time for the golden armor runes to cover every member of the Undead Legion. Lin Mo ordered the Death Knights already equipped with golden armor runes to stand at the front, acting as shields. Pull it out. At Lin Mo's command, the Death Knights exerted force simultaneously, forcibly pulling the shark-like rune beast out of the water. At the same time, screams echoed from the sky. The 10 million bone dragons had completely surrounded the giant bird rune beast, giving it no chance to escape. Aided by the golden armor runes, they repeatedly blocked the rune beast's attempts to break free. The Legion Dominators attacked with full force, slashing down with their blades. Screams filled the air. Lin Mo knew the battle was decided. Against this level of encirclement, even a true god sovereign would struggle to survive. Let alone two rune beasts, their fate was sealed. Finally, just 2 minutes later, the two rune beasts let out death throes before falling silent. Boom, boom, two beams of black and gold light shot straight into the sky. The entire secret realm began to shake, with countless tornadoes appearing in the sea, quickly spreading across the entire surface. The tornadoes lifted countless seawater, soaring into the sky and scattering the clouds. Lightning disappeared, and the golden rain ceased. Lin Mo clearly saw the firmament and the corner of the ancient rune beyond it. At this moment, a large number of golden runes appeared on the firmament, and Lin Mo felt their power. They were shields, protecting the firmament. The shark rune beast's death scatters the cloud layer. The giant bird rune beast's death transforms into golden runes. It seems that without breaking the golden runes, we cannot shatter the firmament. Lin Mo wasn't worried about this. Although the ancient rune was strong, a secret realm evolved from a corner of it had limited power. The Legion Dominators recalled their legions back into the Law River, once again unifying the power of the entire army. They rushed into the sky, touched the firmament, and launched a fierce attack on the golden runes protecting it. The Legion Dominators' attacks were extremely fierce, with 200 battle blades, each strike no weaker than a god sovereign's. The firmament rumbled, and the secret realm shook. The golden runes were weakening at a visible rate. Lin Mo smiled, the mere firmament couldn't stop him. Finally, the golden runes collapsed, and the Legion Dominators faced the firmament directly. The battle blades fell on the firmament, piercing through it. But the strike was ineffective, and the firmament remained intact. Lin Mo was slightly stunned. The firmament was actually soft. He tried a few more strikes, and it was the same. The battle blades could pass through the firmament, but couldn't harm it. He also tried to have the Legion Dominators pass through the firmament, but they couldn't, their bodies couldn't penetrate. Weapons could pass, but not themselves. Lin Mo felt curious, he came to the firmament and pressed his hand on it. The touch was soft and elastic, like a layer of rubber. No matter how much force he used, his fingers couldn't penetrate it. A wisp of gray energy appeared at Lin Mo's fingertips. The power of death from the undead law began to corrode the firmament. The firmament was corroded, and a hole appeared. The undead law could corrode everything, whether it was objects, laws, or even souls. Effective. Lin Mo was delighted, and he immediately mobilized more of the undead law. At the same time, a dense undead law emerged from the Legion Dominators' blades, and they once again slashed, rapidly corroding a gap in the firmament. A strange aura transmitted in, rushing straight towards the soul. The power of rules. Lin Mo muttered to himself. This wasn't the first time he had felt this power, it was the power of rules, brought by a corner of the ancient rune. As long as he entered it, he could come into contact with the corner of the ancient rune. But he didn't know what would happen. At this moment, the aura of the God City Starfield came from behind, and an exit vortex had already appeared. The Human Emperor Network determined that he had passed the second stage, and its power formed an exit vortex here. If Lin Mo didn't want to continue, he could leave. Lin Mo had already passed the second stage, and more power from the Human Emperor Network had penetrated. Exploration of the Black Rain Secret Realm, Stage 2 complete. You can now choose to leave or continue to Stage 3 exploration. Rewards will be settled after you leave the Secret Realm. Rewards will be multiplied according to your mission progress. Please note, Stage 3 is extremely dangerous, and escape runes may fail. The Human Emperor Network's reminder also appeared. The familiar voice, the familiar reminder, was exactly the same as in the Poisonous Bee Secret Realm, only the name of the Secret Realm was changed. Lin Mo's lips curled up slightly, that's right. Without hearing the Human Emperor Network's reminder, Lin Mo felt something was off. Now, the feeling was right. He lifted his foot and stepped into the dark gap. In the next second, all the Legion Dominators collectively disappeared. The gap quickly closed, returning to its original state. At the gap where Lin Mo left, a large hand covered in runes slowly emerged. Lin Mo only felt like he had experienced a teleportation, his soul separated from his body, losing contact. At the same time, the soul seemed to be affected by some kind of force, seeming to fall into a slumber. I can't sleep. His will roared, and his soul opened its eyes, the other shore realm soul blooming with purple light. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal emitted bursts of dragon roars, and the talent giant tree also cooperated by continuously swaying. Master. The spirit array Xiao Jin seemed to sense Lin Mo's abnormality and kept calling out. Finally, Lin Mo's soul gradually woke up. The soul reconnected with the body, and Lin Mo found that the body seemed to be very far away from the soul. He had this feeling before when entering the soul spirit realm. The body stayed at the entrance, and the soul entered it. The soul opened its eyes, passed through the soul world, and saw the outside. Lin Mo's soul trembled, revealing a look of shock. Outside the soul world, an ancient rune was flashing. Not a corner of the ancient rune, but a complete ancient rune. This shouldn't be. I might be trapped in an illusion. If it really is an ancient rune, with my current abilities, it's impossible for me to look directly at it. Lin Mo quickly calmed down, realizing that this was impossible. He currently had no ability to look directly at an ancient rune, even a fragment, he couldn't even look at it for a few seconds. His realm was not high enough, this hard threshold could not be crossed. He inspected his soul and found that he wasn't trapped in an illusion. If he were trapped in an illusion, the 9-colored dragon soul crystal and the talent giant tree would have sensed it. Lin Mo had dealt with illusions before and was very clear about this. Since it wasn't an illusion, then things became interesting. The soul I gathered power, examining the ancient rune suspended in the void. This was indeed an ancient rune, undoubtedly. It was three-dimensional, weighty, and powerful. It contained an unspeakable truth, integrating the functions of various runes. Any high-level rune, any rune array, was just a little brother in front of it. Every stroke and every line was so magical and unparalleled, any corner could evolve into a secret realm, turning decay into magic. Lin Moyu greedily admired the beauty of the ancient rune. Since it allowed him to see it, he naturally wouldn't be polite. Gradually, he noticed something. The ancient rune in front of him was not real. It had form but no spirit, which was why he could look directly at it. However, he was only seeing the surface, unable to see the spirit, so he couldn't understand the true essence of the ancient rune. But this didn't prevent him from appreciating it. He looked at it again and again, 10 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Finally, Lin Moyu saw some clues. Soul power cautiously probed out, like a tentacle, crossing the void and contacting the ancient rune. Chapter 1646. Observing and learning the ancient rune, it's him. Lin Moyu was very cautious. When facing the ancient rune, being careful was not an exaggeration. Even if it was just a corner of the ancient rune, it was still an ancient rune. If it were just fragments of the ancient rune, Lin Moyu would still have a way to resist. But if the power of a corner of the ancient rune was fully activated, Lin Moyu didn't have the confidence to deal with it. That was the true power of the rules belonging to the other shore realm, and even if he used his full combat power, he was only at the 3rd rank of godly venerable, the difference between them was incalculable. Before entering here, he was almost affected by the ancient rune and fell into a deep sleep. Once he fell asleep, it would be difficult to wake up again. Fortunately, his soul quality reached the other shore realm, the 5th grade purple jade soul, plus the 9-colored dragon soul crystal and the talent giant tree, finally waking him up. At that time, he was also afraid. If the 9-colored dragon soul crystal and the talent giant tree couldn't wake him up, his last reliance would be the scourge scepter. This was his last reliance. Although the scourge scepter had been destroyed and damaged, its power was still amazing. Especially the soul gem on it, should be able to protect the soul. Just like now, he was going to contact the ancient rune, his greatest reliance was also the scourge scepter. This thing, usually silent, as if it didn't exist. But at the moment of life and death, it could really save lives. A trace of Lin Moyu's soul touched the ancient rune. The ancient rune buzzed, shining brightly. The soul didn't feel any threat. Lin Moyu's soul entered the ancient rune, and began to explore the mysteries of the ancient rune. At this moment, Lin Moyu's mood was slightly excited. With his level, he shouldn't be able to contact the ancient rune. But by chance, a complete ancient rune was presented in front of him. Even if it was just an ancient rune with form but no spirit, it was really an ancient rune. The soul gradually spread throughout the ancient rune, and the entire structure of the ancient rune was presented in his mind. Lin Moyu gradually had some understanding, and his understanding of runes deepened unknowingly. The seemingly complete ancient rune, in fact, only a corner of it was real, and the rest were evolved from this corner of the ancient rune. And this corner of the ancient rune only accounted for about 3% of the complete ancient rune. Lin Moyu now had an extremely good understanding of runes, and had his own rune system, and his cognition was far beyond what it used to be. He carefully distinguished the position, shape, and some functions of a corner of the ancient rune. Lin Moyu divided the ancient rune into 2 parts, upper and lower, and each part was divided into inner and outer. And this corner of the ancient rune was the lower part of the entire ancient rune, and it was also the area connecting the inner and outer parts. The outer part was yang, and the inner part was yin, so this corner of the ancient rune also had both yin and yang aspects. Gold was yang, and black was yin. The secret realm evolved from it also had both yin and yang aspects. Gradually, Lin Moyu understood the entire structure of the ancient rune. Although the ancient rune had form but no spirit, countless runes could be disassembled from the structure. The ancient rune was like merging many formations together, becoming a huge and terrifying rune. An ancient rune could present countless states, even a corner of it could become a large number of formations. So it could evolve into a secret realm and change the power of rules. Even if only a little bit was left, it wouldn't collapse. The most important thing was that the ancient rune also had the ability to heal. As long as the corners of the runes could be found and reassembled, Given it enough time, it could even be restored to its original state. What a terrible product. What level would the person who drew the ancient rune have to be? I feel that even the other shore realm would hardly have the ability to draw the ancient rune. Lin Moyu had seen the other shore realm, although he hadn't seen the other shore realm go all out, he could feel it. In comparison, he felt that the ancient rune seemed stronger. After looking at the ancient rune inside and out several times, Lin Moyu finally aimed his target at a corner of the rune in the Black Rain secret realm. Before, when studying the ancient rune, he had always bypassed it. Other places had form but no spirit, but it had form and spirit. As the lower part of the ancient rune, the existence that connects the inner and outer parts, it had both yin and yang aspects, which was very complex and powerful. Lin Moyu didn't know what would happen after touching it. But he couldn't not touch it, it was impossible to waste time like this. A corner of the rune dragged him into this space, his body and soul had been separated. If the time was too long, he was afraid that he would completely disconnect from his body. Lin Moyu had already searched, only touching it was the only way out. The purple jade soul showed an earthy yellow light, and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal and the talent giant tree were also ready to go. Holding the scourge scepter in his hand, Lin Moyu had made enough preparations. Soul power finally touched a corner of the rune. The entire soul world vibrated violently. At this moment, the soul world was constantly deforming, crossing time and space, constantly traveling far away. The connection with the body was completely disconnected. Lin Moyu felt that the soul world had turned into a flat boat, traveling through the terrible starry sky. At this moment, he couldn't make any reaction. It seemed that all the preparations had lost their effect. Asking for flowers. Everything was out of control. The soul couldn't move, it could only watch the event happen. No matter what, he wouldn't have thought that the power of a corner of the rune could reach such a degree. Lin Moyu felt that he was still careless, but he had no choice. The weak soul world was flying through the terrible starry sky at high speed. A wave of ancient and terrifying aura rushed towards him. A few seconds later, the scene in front of him suddenly froze. Lin Moyu saw an unfamiliar starry sky, filled with dense stars, the number of which was astonishing. Countless stars were flying at an alarming speed, rotating and dancing. At the center of all the stars was an immense black hole. All the stars were flying around the black hole. This situation was both normal and extremely abnormal. In the great world, there were many black holes, and around these black holes, a large number of galaxies would form. Galaxies would indeed fly around black holes, but not this fast. The flying speed of the stars before him was already close to the speed of light. Upon closer inspection, this black hole also seemed abnormal, unlike a normal black hole. Under Lin Moyu's gaze, the black hole rapidly expanded, and almost in an instant, it devoured all the surrounding stars. Lin Moyu felt a sense of horror. At least tens of thousands of stars were swallowed just like that. After devouring the stars, the black hole grew even larger. Black holes devour light and are invisible to the naked eye. However, it cannot shield the observation of the soul. Lin Moyu personally witnessed the black hole growing larger and then beginning to deform. Is it because it ate too much? Suddenly, this thought popped up, feeling somewhat unreliable. A black hole isn't a wild beast, how could something like this happen? But in the next second, his understanding was shattered. The black hole suddenly spewed out a large number of stars, each star accelerated to an astonishing degree, flying through the starry sky at a speed exceeding the speed of light. Seconds later, the stars seemed to collide with some kind of barrier and shattered one after another. The explosion of the stars was incredibly brilliant, illuminating the starry sky. Borrowing the colorful light, Lin Moyu finally saw a person. A terrifying giant. It was incomparably large, so large that it was immeasurable. The stars spewed out by the black hole were all blocked by one of its fingers. This finger was covered in runes. Lin Moyu had a sense of copyright Yavu, and suddenly he was shocked, it's him. Chapter 1647. The Origin of the Secret Realm, the Ancient War. Lin Moyu didn't recognize this giant, this existence had completely surpassed his understanding. However, Lin Moyu recognized this finger. Outside the Divine City Star region, a finger that had already lost its flesh but had never collapsed. Even the interior of the finger, after countless evolutions, had evolved into extremely dangerous areas, known as the ancient ruins. And the root cause was the existence of ancient runes. Lin Moyu even suspected that the various secret realms in the Divine City Star region were the flesh and blood of the severed finger's owner. The flesh and blood flew into the Divine City Star region, the flesh and blood contained broken ancient runes, and the ancient runes evolved into various secret realms. Although it far exceeded the cognition of normal people, it seemed not impossible to explain. This is a scene from the ancient times. Lin Moyu's thoughts flashed rapidly like lightning. In an instant, he thought a lot, and disbelief was revealed in the eyes of his soul. Of course, he knew that it was impossible for him to return to the ancient times, but this corner of the rune re-displayed the events that happened in the ancient times before his eyes. Ancient runes contained various functions, and it was not surprising that they could record what happened at that time. In Lin Moyu's eyes, the black hole spewed out countless stars, all of which were blocked by a finger. The runes on the finger shone, like an unshakable mountain, blocking countless meteor showers. Whether planets or stars, regardless of size, were blocked. Brilliant explosions bloomed in the starry sky, and beautiful fireworks were endless. The giant raised its hand, and its fingers danced along with it. In the instant it swept across the starry sky, countless runes flew from its fingertips. Each one was an ancient rune, and each ancient rune contained terrifying power. These ancient runes were like soldiers wielding knives, carrying amazing attacks, and defeating the star stream spewed out by the black hole. Destroying stars, even a god king could do it. Stronger god emperors and others shores, ordinary planets and stars, in their eyes, were like toys, which could be crushed at will. But facing tens of thousands of star streams like sea waves, even the other shore realm would have a headache. The god king realm could only retreat. But this unknown giant, with just a move of its finger, countless runes scattered, shattered it. Then the giant's big hand clenched and grabbed the black hole. Then, with a pinch, the entire sky was shaking, and the black hole exploded. The stars swallowed by the black hole all exploded again at this moment, densely packed and rushing in all directions. Some stars directly passed through Lin Moyu's soul world, but the soul world was not affected in the slightest. Lin Moyu was an observer. He was just re-watching the great battle of that year. The two sides were in different space-time dimensions and did not interfere with each other. Crushing the black hole with his bare hands, the giant's strength was staggering. At this moment, a sword light suddenly flew out of the black hole, and Lin Moyu heard a deafening scream of pain. Blood sprinkled the long sky, and a severed finger flew out. The giant roared angrily, and the giant hand that had lost a finger exerted force again, turning into a fist and falling down. The sword light was smashed by the fist, and a similarly huge sword appeared from the collapsed black hole. The angry giant grabbed the sword and exerted force again. The sword shattered. The giant threw the sword away like trash, and then he turned to retrieve his severed finger. Suddenly, someone else came to kill from afar. An existence that could not be looked at directly appeared in Lin Moyu's sight. His physique was not as burly as the giant's, only 10,000 meters. His appearance, clothing, and dress were no different from the human race. Human race. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. It was the human race of the ancient times. He remembered the oldest name of the human race, the Starry Sky God race, one of the 4 source races. At that time, the correct name for the human race should be the Starry Sky God race. This was a terrifying existence of the Starry Sky God race. Suddenly, a creepy feeling came from the soul. The terrifying existence of the Starry Sky God race was looking towards him. He can see me. Lin Moyu was very sure that the other party could see him. His gaze seemed to ignore the obstacles of time and space, seeing him, this bystander. His eyes were extremely indifferent, without a trace of emotion, making Lin Moyu feel terrible. Then a sword light lit up in his eyes. Lin Moyu's heart trembled greatly. This sword light was coming towards him. The terrifying existence from the Starry Sky God race was going to kill him. The scene before him suddenly froze and then became blurred. The soul world turned into a flat boat, carrying Lin Moyu through time and space. The soul lost control again, and Lin Mo was unable to do anything. However, having had the previous experience, Lin Mo knew that he would not be in danger, so he was not nervous at all. After a few seconds, his vision returned again. He found himself in a new void again. This void looked a bit strange, but also somewhat familiar. Is this the God City Starfield? Not the current God City Starfield of the human race, the time is even earlier. After observing, Lin Mo came to a conclusion. The God City Starfield in front of him was different from the God City Starfield currently owned by the human race. It was more ancient and desolate. In the ancient God City starfield, a large number of stars were colliding and gathering. They gradually formed new star systems, and planets began to revolve around the stars. In addition to the flying planets, Lin Mo also saw many light spots. Each light spot was a broken ancient rune. These broken ancient runes were moving and flying along with the stars. Including himself, he seemed to have turned into one of the broken ancient runes, flying in the nascent God City starfield. And in the distance, a severed finger was clearly visible. Lin Mo suddenly understood. He connected all the previous causes and effects. These broken ancient runes did come from the ancient giant. It was the blood of the ancient giant's finger was cut off, and blood flowed from the wound. The blood contained ancient runes, which were scattered to various corners of the God City starfield, and after countless years of evolution, became secret realms. These ancient runes were all incomplete, and the truly complete ancient rune always existed within the severed finger. Lin Mo once again experienced a journey through time and space, and saw the shocking evolution of the world. Until the time-space travel appeared again, and the soul world took it back to the real world. The soul reconnected with the body. Lin Mo opened his eyes, and saw a corner of an ancient rune. The previous experience was like a dream, like an illusion, yet extremely real. He finally understood that what he saw was not an illusion, but something that had actually happened. These things existed in the flesh and blood, and were recorded by the corner of the ancient rune in front of him. He passed the test of the ancient rune, and was not confused and fell into a deep sleep in the third stage. So it recognized him, and thought he was qualified to see what happened at that time. That's why the scene happened later. This experience was very rewarding. Lin Mo saw many secrets, saw a wider sky, and saw how the God City starfield was formed. He glimpsed the battle between the strong, and understood the demeanor of the truly strong. No matter which thing, it had a deep impact on him. This kind of touch will subtly affect him, and will also strengthen his Tao heart. Just as Lin Mo was thinking, a big handful of runes came through the air. Chapter 1648. Ancient runes automatically enter the soul. As Lin Mo cleared the third stage, the power of the Human Emperor network also successfully penetrated in. This giant handful of runes is the manifestation of the power of the Human Emperor network. Just like the previous 2 times, it grabbed the corner of the ancient rune, wanting to take the ancient rune away. This is also the normal operation of the Human Emperor network, and Lin Mo watched quietly from the side. Just as the giant hand was about to grab the ancient rune, the corner of the ancient rune suddenly bloomed with light, and the giant hand suddenly stopped in midair. Immediately afterwards, the corner of the ancient rune turned into a stream of light, escaped from the giant hand's grasp, and entered Lin Mo's body at an alarming speed. The next second, the corner of the ancient rune had already appeared in Lin Mo's soul. This corner of the ancient rune actually took the initiative to enter his soul world. Moreover, even the skeleton hell did not react at all, indicating that the corner of the ancient rune had no malice towards him. The giant hand was stunned, and Lin Mo was also stunned. The scene became a little awkward. The giant hand froze there for a few seconds, and then slowly dissipated. The secret realm began to shake, the space was distorted, and the scene in front of him rippled like water, gradually becoming blurred. The secret realm was evolved from a corner of the ancient rune, and now that the ancient rune disappeared, the secret realm naturally could not exist. A familiar aura rushed towards him, and Lin Mo knew that he had returned to the God City starfield, and returned to the great world. 23 The noisy sound came from his ears, with shock, surprise, and doubt. Why did the secret realm disappear? I was clearly still in the secret realm, why did I suddenly come out? What happened? Why is this happening? I have clearly collected 9 copies of black water, and I only need 1 more to complete the task. The secret realm is gone, how can I complete the task in the future? Many people, like Lin Mo, were in the secret realm. At this moment, the secret realm disappeared, and these people were uniformly teleported out. For most people, they naturally would not understand what happened. Their knowledge determined their cognition. Lin Mo had a premonition of what would happen next, and immediately turned into a stream of light and quickly left. Everyone was still surprised by the disappearance of the secret realm, and did not pay attention to the departing Lin Mo. A few seconds later, these people who were forced to leave the secret realm simultaneously received information from the Human Emperor network. Your task has been completed, reward 10 points of God City merit. Your task has been completed, reward 10 points of God City merit. Everyone's information was the same. These people were even more surprised. The Human Emperor Network said I completed the task. Me too, but I only just entered the secret realm. I have already collected 9 copies of black water, it is appropriate to count me as completing the task. I don't know what happened to the secret realm. Suddenly a lazy voice interrupted everyone's doubts. What else could it be? You can find out by looking at the God City announcement. In the Human Emperor Network, an announcement was extremely eye-catching. God City announcement. Junior personnel Lin Mo successfully cleared the Black Rain secret realm of star system number 13,283. This secret realm will be completely closed from now on, and related tasks will also be cancelled. Generally, there is nothing going on in God City, and there will be no announcements. Sometimes, there may not be an announcement for more than 10 years. Once a God City announcement is released, it will exist permanently. Even if you want to find God City announcements from hundreds or thousands of years ago, you can find them. Now the first 3 God City announcements are all related to Lin Mo. Lin Mo cleared 3 secret realms in a row. Such a person has never appeared in the history of the human race. Indeed, some people have cleared 3 secret realms, but not in a row. Lin Mo almost cleared 1 secret realm every time he entered one, and the clearance rate reached 100%. Calculated in this way, it is too terrifying. For a time, Lin Mo's name was like the wind of law, quickly sweeping across the entire human race's God City. Lin Mo, who had already left, simultaneously received a reminder from the Human Emperor Network. Congratulations on completing the first stage of the Black Rain Secret Realm task, reward 10 points of God City merit. Congratulations on completing the second stage of the Black Rain Secret Realm task, reward 100 points of God City merit. Congratulations on completing the third stage mission of the Black Rain Secret Realm, reward 400 points of Divine City merit. Congratulations on clearing the Black Rain Poison Bee Secret Realm, reward 500 points of Divine City merit. Lin Mo, you received the information, slightly puzzled. This reward is quite high. Is it because the Black Rain Secret Realm is more dangerous? It should be, otherwise there's no other explanation. Lin Mo, you didn't dwell on it too much. Anyway, he'll take whatever reward the Human Emperor Network gives him. If they're willing to give more, naturally the better. This secret realm trip felt extremely long to him, like it lasted a century. Especially the illusionary realm of the third stage, that kind of experience gave him an unspeakable shock. He didn't know why, but the last fragment of the ancient talisman actively burrowed into his soul. It looked like a magical treasure recognizing him as its master. Did the fragment of the ancient talisman develop sentience? Lin Mo, you didn't think so, it was probably just an instinct. But if it really had sentience, it wouldn't be impossible. The ancient talisman came from the blood of ancient giants, carrying part of their memories. At that level, anything could happen. One bizarre experience after another made Lin Mo Yu feel genuinely tired from the bottom of his heart. It's time to rest. I should also study a talisman language properly, hopefully I can master all the runes. And I also need to research this guy in my soul. Lin Mo Yu's thoughts wandered as he flew towards the Chu 13,283 feet star system. In the core area of Divine City, the great Beyond Realm figures held another tea party. Venerable Talisman Saint and Venerable House Saint had both left some time ago, and returned together after 100 days. Upon returning, Venerable Talisman Saint looked solemn and didn't say a word, remaining in a meditative state. In his condition, no one dared to disturb him. Although both are Beyond Realm, there is still a difference between saints and ordinary Beyond Realm cultivators. Venerable House Saint left again, only returning the day before yesterday. Upon returning, Venerable House Saint brought back a few leaves of Dao tea, and everyone held a tea party. After drinking several cups of Dao tea, Venerable Talisman Saint finally relaxed, and his solemn expression gradually disappeared. No one knew where Venerable Talisman Saint and Venerable House Saint had gone, or what they had experienced. If they didn't say, no one would ask. Suddenly, Venerable Talisman Saint frowned slightly, revealing surprise. How could this happen? Madame Yu gently held her teacup and softly asked, Venerable Saint, what happened? Venerable Talisman Saint pointed his finger, and a picture appeared. The picture showed the scene of a fragment of the ancient talisman avoiding the giant hand and automatically burrowing into Lin Mo Yu. Everyone watched, revealing confusion. Madame Yu was puzzled. What's going on? Venerable Talisman Saint shook his head. he must have experienced something in the secret realm. Venerable House Saint pondered, the Black Rain secret realm is somewhat special, its secret realm trials are related to the soul, strange things can happen. Old Lin also hummed in agreement, I remember a few hundred years ago, there was also a secret realm related to the soul, that secret realm seemed to show some scenes that didn't belong to this era, many people who entered saw them. Madam Yu said, Old Lin is talking about the Flying Flower secret realm, but unfortunately, no one who came out of that secret realm had any memories of it. Venerable Talisman Saint said in a low voice, I wonder if this time little friend Lin saw anything, or if he can remember. First 1649th chapter's free development, the main thing is serendipity. The great beyond realm figures, their eyes gleaming. They were all very curious and wanted to know what Lin Moyu had seen and heard. This might be related to some secrets of ancient times, they were constantly searching and exploring things about the ancient era. Not just them, but other races as well. Anything related to ancient times would attract their attention. The Black Rain secret realm was also related to the soul, and they all knew the origin of the secret realm, so they judged that it was possible to obtain information about ancient times in the Black Rain secret realm. Venerable House Saint drank his tea and said softly, don't disturb him, if he discovers anything, he will take the initiative to say. If he doesn't say, we shouldn't ask either. A Beyond Realm cultivator was puzzled, why? As a member of the human race, if he knows something, shouldn't he say it? Venerable House Saint glanced at him, then are you willing to share what you know with him? This Beyond Realm cultivator was stunned and immediately fell silent. He was a Beyond Realm cultivator, he had lived for so many years and knew too many things. How could he share them? But he could understand Venerable House Saint's meaning, which was not to force Lin Moyu to answer. Everyone could clearly feel that Venerable House Saint's attitude towards Lin Moyu was extremely special. From the beginning, Venerable House Saint's attitude was very clear. Don't disturb Lin Moyu, let him develop freely. Venerable House Saint was a saint, naturally no one dared to oppose his decision. Venerable House Saint continued, we explore our world, Lin Moyu explores his world. Perhaps one day, he will grow to the same level as us, and then we can verify what he knows with what we know. In this way, we will gain more. The others somewhat understood Venerable House Saint's meaning, they were Beyond Realm cultivators, if they intervened in Lin Moyu's growth, perhaps they could make Lin Moyu grow faster. But similarly, they would miss many things. Lin Moyu had his own growth trajectory, he needed to experience everything himself. Venerable House Saint looked at Madam Yu, how is Han Shanzi doing now? Madam Yu smiled softly, she's doing very well, she's about to break through to Divine Lord Fourth Order. I've never seen such talent, at this rate, she's very likely to break through to Beyond Realm before she's 100 years old. As soon as these words came out, all the Beyond Realm cultivators revealed shocked expressions. Breaking through to Beyond Realm at 100 years old, was this a joke? Has such a thing ever happened since ancient times? Breaking through to Divine Lord at 100 years old was unlikely, let alone Beyond Realm. Madam Yu softly asked, Venerable Saint, did you see something at the time? Venerable House Saint shook his head, just a guess, her situation seems to be related to a certain legend. Madam Yu instinctively asked, what legend? Venerable House Saint smiled and shook his head, not answering. Madam Yu was also very sensible and didn't ask any further. Some things could be said, and could be explained clearly without asking. Some things couldn't be said, and wouldn't be said even if asked. However, Venerable House Saint's words also made the great Beyond Realm figures' minds wander. What kind of legend was it? After all, Lin Mohan's cultivation speed was too fast. Venerable Talisman Saint said in a low voice, Lin Moyu obtained a fragment of the ancient talisman, I don't know if it's good or bad for him, in a while, the Ju Mountain secret realm will open, should we let him participate? Venerable House Saint thought for a moment and said in a low voice, let it be serendipitous. Star System Chu 13283, Planet Number 1. Lin Moyu silently landed on the ground. Planet Number 1 appeared to have no defenses, but it was actually shrouded in formations. If anyone of unknown identity approaches, the formation will immediately issue a warning and directly counterattack. Moreover, with the existence of the Human Emperor network here, it's impossible for enemies to sneak in. Standing on the main street, people come and go, including both cultivators and ordinary people. In the God City, cultivators and ordinary people are not separated as they are in the 4-star domains. The human race has adopted two cultivation models. In the 4-star domains, ordinary people and cultivators are separated. The two are in different living areas and generally do not interact much. From a young age, ordinary people are given the life goal of becoming cultivators and becoming strong. Under this system, people in the 4-star domains work very hard. At the same time, the Human Emperor Network also provides strict protection for ordinary people, and there is basically no danger before reaching level 5 permission. Of course, if you enter the battlefield, that's another matter. In the God City Star domain, another cultivation method is adopted. Here, ordinary people and cultivators are not separated but mixed together. Ordinary people can often see powerful cultivators who soar into the sky and enter and exit stars, which can also stimulate the desire of most people to become stronger. But the God City is more cruel. Compared to the 4-star domains, the Human Emperor Network's protection for cultivators in the God City is much weaker. Although the God City does not need to face war, it has to face its own dangers. Cultivators initially enter resource stars, and within these resource stars, there are some strange alien beasts. In ancient battlefields, there are evil souls, and in secret realms, there are life-threatening runes. With layers of danger, the God City sees many deaths every year. Purely from the number of deaths, it is even more than the 4-star domains. But so what, everyone thinks it's normal. Cultivation is originally about sifting sand from the waves, and cultivators should not be afraid of death. The human race's higher-ups think this way, and the goal is to select the best from the best. From the vast sea of people, they seek geniuses with excellent Tao hearts, aptitudes, talents, and luck. Lin Mo felt as if he had once again reached a commanding height, looking at the world's operations with a condescending attitude. This state is very abnormal, but also very normal. Lin Mo knew the source, because his soul realm was too high. Starting from the soul level, he had already reached the level of the Other Shore realm. The Other Shore realm is the legend of this era, the strongest. The rules of the world's operation are set by them. Unconsciously, he would naturally use this mentality to face everything in the world. He would no longer measure by the true level of strength. Even when facing a god Venerable whose strength was stronger than his, he would not have the slightest timidity. Because he had already seen his own future. That was the Other Shore realm, the god Venerable realm could not stop him from moving forward. This was a very strange feeling, but it must be said that Lin Mo was enjoying this feeling somewhat. Outside the Guanxi Hall was the tea friend's residence. Lin Mo sat in the tea friend's residence and ordered a pot of clear tea. The tea was very ordinary. Lin Mo's mouth had been spoiled by the enlightenment tea. But here, Lin Mo did not take out the enlightenment tea, otherwise, the commotion would be too great. Lin Mo seemed to be a master integrated into the world, drinking tea and listening to everyone's discussions. As long as he was willing, he could hear everyone's discussions. Even if they used soul transmission, they couldn't hide it from him. Many of these people had just come out of the Guanxi Hall, and most of their discussions were about recent events. Many of them were related to him. He had cleared another secret realm, and it was inevitable that it would cause a sensation. There was also some information about recent events in the human race. Lin Mo heard a piece of news: the starry sky giant tree had escaped. Chapter 1650. Seeing Luo Feiyu again. The starry sky giant tree was also a relatively popular topic recently, and many people were discussing it. According to the information from the Guanxi Hall, a strong person from our human race took action and severely injured the starry sky giant tree, but unfortunately, it still escaped. There's no way. The starry sky giant tree possesses spatial law talent. If it is determined to escape, it is difficult to chase. Is there no way at all? What if he recovers and comes to find trouble with the human race again? He will definitely come. This time, the hatred is so great. In the future, human cultivators wandering outside will have to be careful. After reaching level 5 permission or God Venerable, many people will leave the human race's star domain and go to the great world to wander and explore. There are countless mysterious places and countless opportunities in the great world. For ambitious people, these opportunities are the steps for them to move to a higher level. There are also many God Venerables who are firm in their Tao hearts and like to take risks, seeking breakthroughs between life and death. There are not a few strong people from the human race who are wandering outside. If they encounter the starry sky giant tree, it is indeed very dangerous. It can be said that unless the starry sky giant tree is completely eradicated, this dangerous factor will always exist. But the starry sky giant tree's spatial law is indeed a very troublesome problem. As far as Lin Mo knew, no one in the human race had comprehended the 130 spatial law. With such a huge base number, no one can comprehend the spatial law, so you can imagine how difficult it is. Suddenly, someone said, actually, there is a way to deal with the starry sky giant tree. You only need to ask the strong people of the starry sky fish human race for help. There are several strong people in the starry sky fish human race who have mastered the spatial law. His words immediately sparked a new round of discussion, and everyone quickly shifted the topic to the starry sky fish human race. The relationship between the starry sky fish human race and the human race is still okay. If they can be persuaded to help, perhaps the starry sky giant tree can really be eliminated. Lin Mo listened in his ears. He knew very well that things were not that simple. Otherwise, the other shore realm experts in the human race would have already gone to ask for help. The one who took action this time should be the Saint Venerable, right? I wonder if it's the House Saint Venerable. There should be some other shore realm experts in the human race, but there shouldn't be many Saint Venerables. The human race is already like this, and the starry sky fish human race will only have fewer. At least you have to ask a Saint Venerable to take action to be foolproof, but how easy is it to ask a Saint Venerable to take action? Lin Mo's level was different from theirs, and he could see more clearly. Thinking of the starry sky fish human race, Yu Qingru naturally appeared in his mind. Yu Qingru left a deep impression on him. She was a remarkable woman. Resolute, affectionate, valiant, and also somewhat domineering. In some ways, she had the shadow of Lin Mo Han. Thinking of Yu Qingru, Lin Mo also thought of two other things. A soul sleeping in the soul pearl, this soul belonged to the starry sky fish human race. The other was a small sword obtained from the nether swamp, a small sword that could tear space. At that time, his soul was not strong enough, and he did not dare to touch the soul pearl. Looking at it now, there should be no problem. That small sword might really have something to do with Yu Qingru. In the picture recorded on the tombstone, that peerless Ru princess was exactly the same as Yu Qingru. Now that he recalled it, Lin Mo still felt that they were the same person. But this seemed to be unexplainable. If he had the opportunity to meet Yu Qingru again in the future, he could ask and also return the soul pearl to them. People came and went in the tea friend's residence, and all kinds of news kept coming. In the blink of an eye, Lin Mo had been sitting in the tea friend's residence for 2 days and 2 nights. In those 2 days, Lin Mo completely relaxed himself. He didn't think about cultivation, didn't think about runes, and didn't think about laws. Clearing his mind, Lin Mo felt incredibly relaxed. He realized that he had been pushing himself too hard all along. This trip to the secret realm, with the ancient runes taking him back to the ancient times, had shown him such shocking things. Afterward, it allowed him to witness the evolution of the secret realm, which greatly touched Lin Mo and also made him feel the exhaustion deep within his soul. He truly realized that he needed to rest, to erase the fatigue, which would be more beneficial for the future. "Junior brother, we meet again." A slightly effeminate voice came. Lin Mo raised his head and saw Luo Feiyu. The person and the voice were the same, slightly effeminate, with even a hint of paleness on his face. A cultivator at the lesser god Venerable realm, his physical body should have at least reached true god level, his vitality so abundant. Not to mention smashing a planet with a punch, smashing down a few mountains should be no problem. But now, he was like an ordinary person who had fallen ill. Not long since their last meeting, Luo Feiyu's condition had become increasingly serious. This paleness came from the soul, the problems in his state of mind began to affect his soul. Moreover, Luo Feiyu's aura was very unstable, sometimes at the lesser god Venerable realm, sometimes at the 9th rank of God King. He couldn't even maintain his realm. Junior brother can see it, right? Luo Feiyu sat down opposite Lin Mo, poured himself a cup of tea very familiarly, and then raised the teacup. Luo offers his apology to junior brother for his previous recklessness. This is tea friend's residence, not suitable for drinking alcohol, so Luo will use tea instead of wine. Saying this, he drank 3 cups in place of wine, put down the teacup, and continued to speak. If junior brother is free, you can come back to the Luo family with Luo. Luo will treat you with good wine and drink to your heart's content with junior brother. Although Luo Feiyu looked effeminate and spoke softly, the meaning in his words was very forthright. Lin Mo looked at him, and Luo Feiyu's eyes were sincere, not lying. Lin Mo slowly got up. I heard that the Luo family's wine is good. Luo Feiyu revealed a happy expression. It is indeed good. In this star system, if my Luo family's wine says second, no one dares to say first. The Luo family is the managing family of this star system, with powerful strength. There are 2 God Venerables in the family, one at the 2nd rank of God Venerable, and the other reaching the 6th rank of God Venerable, only 1 step away from the 7th rank of God Venerable. Starting from the 7th rank of God Venerable, they are also known as high-rank God Venerables. Their combat power is much stronger than when they were at the 6th rank of God Venerable. According to the rules in the human race, if a family produces a high-rank God Venerable, the entire family can move from the primary area to the intermediate area. At that time, they can still manage a star system and obtain more resources. It is said that in the intermediate area, the laws are more obvious. It is not very useful for God Venerables, but the family members below God Venerable will have twice the effect with half the effort when cultivating. Moreover, in the intermediate area, the resources are more abundant, both in quantity and quality, which are greatly improved. For cultivators, there are also unlimited benefits. As the saying goes, when one achieves the Tao, even one's pets ascend to heaven. That's the idea. The Luo family is located outside the city, occupying a large mountain range, which is their privilege. Luo Feiyu is the eldest son of the Luo family, with an independent courtyard, which is comparable to a manor in scale. Luo Fei likes quietness, and in the large yard, besides him, there is no one else. Junior brother, please sit for a while, I'll go to the wine cellar to get wine. Saying this, he flew into a tower-shaped building more than 100 meters high. This tower is the Luo family's wine cellar, storing the Luo family's own brewed wine. Before long, Luo Feiyu flew back carrying 2 large jars of wine. Chapter 1651. Making friends with wine, no discord, no concord. The wine jars were very large, taller than Lin Mo. Luo Feiyu said, Junior brother, let's have 1 jar each jar is 500 pounds, if it's not enough, there's more. It can be seen that Luo Feiyu is also a wine lover, and when he said this, a rare blush appeared on his pale face. In fact, he always had a faint smell of alcohol on his body, which was also the result of being soaked in wine all year round. Luo Feiyu took out a few appetizers from the storage ring. When Lin Mo saw them, he felt that Luo Feiyu was a bit interesting. The appetizers he took out were the most ordinary ones. Beef, peanuts, were all home-style dishes. In fact, with his status, it would be no problem to get some delicious star giant beasts as appetizers. Luo Feiyu said, when really drinking, you can't pair it with too delicious food, it will affect the taste of the wine. It's like our Luo family's wine, although it can't compare with those peerless wines, they are all aged. We store the wine in the wine cellar, the longer the age, the more fragrant the wine. Like these 2 jars, they have been stored for more than 500 years, the taste is already good. Saying this, he slapped the wine jar, and a strong fragrance rushed out of the wine jar, lingering for a long time. Lin Mo praised, indeed good. He didn't have much research on wine, but just by smelling the fragrance, he knew it was good wine. Luo Feiyu drew a line of wine into the bowl in his hand, picked up the bowl. This time, no need to use tea instead of wine. Luo formally apologizes to junior brother. Luo was indeed a bit blinded that day, did something wrong, and fortunately didn't cause a catastrophe. This bowl, Luo apologizes. Saying this, he drank a large bowl of wine in 1 gulp, and then filled himself another bowl. Junior brother is broad-minded, doesn't care about Luo. Luo is deeply grateful. This bowl, thank you junior brother. After the 2nd bowl, another bowl was filled. Junior brother came here, happened to meet Luo, gave Luo a chance to apologize. This bowl, respect our fate. After 3 bowls of wine, Luo Feiyu's face was even more flushed, obviously he didn't have a room to dispel the alcohol. However, for someone like him who grew up in wine since childhood, even if he didn't dispel the alcohol, it would be very difficult to get drunk. Unless it was the kind of strong wine that could intoxicate the soul. 3 bowls of wine, from apology, to gratitude, and then to fate. Just like 2 people who don't know each other become friends after a fight, using wine as a medium, making friends with wine, in the blink of an eye, they seem to have become friends. Lin Mo smiled slightly, also drew a line of wine from his wine jar, filled a bowl, and drank it in 1 gulp. The wine bowl was upside down, not a drop was left. Then the 2nd bowl, the 3rd bowl. After 3 bowls in a row, Lin Mo gently picked up a peanut. It's been a long time since I ate this. I remember the last time I ate it was in the small world. Luo Feiyu was slightly stunned. Junior brother came from the small world. Lin Mo nodded slightly, threw the peanut into his mouth. It didn't matter what it tasted like, what mattered was the memory. In the big world, ordinary people don't worry about food and drink, cultivators cannot eat or drink. Not many people eat such small things. After learning that Lin Mo came from the small world, Luo Feiyu's eyes showed a bit of admiration. To be able to come out of the small world, enter the God City, and be able to set up such a powerful formation. This kind of person has unlimited potential. In Luo Feiyu's eyes, Lin Mo was much stronger than himself. Thinking of himself, Luo Feiyu couldn't help but sigh, his eyes dimmed. Luo Feiyu's speed of drinking also slowed down. Junior brother, to be honest, Luo was indeed a little jealous of junior brother that day. The formation set up by junior brother is really too bizarre, simply a genius. Luo has a flaw in his state of mind, and he really couldn't hold back that day. At the same time, as junior brother said, Luo wants to use junior brother's hand to complete his state of mind. Lin Mo smiled and said, senior brother Luo is sure that winning against me will complete your state of mind. Luo Feiyu shook his head, not sure, but I can't think of any other way. Lin Mo ordered another piece of beef, the most ordinary and simple beef, not some starry sky beast. Its taste happened to be the taste that Lin Mo missed the most. Senior brother Luo, can you tell me about your situation? Luo Feiyu laughed miserably while drinking. What can't be said? Actually, many people know, but they don't know how serious it is. In the second stage of the Black Rain secret realm, I fell into the sea. The less said, the bigger the matter. Lin Mo was very clear about what it meant to fall into the sea in the second stage. Lin Mo was slightly stunned. Senior brother Luo is also a member of the Secret Realm Strategy Group. Luo Feiyu was stunned on the spot. Junior brother actually knows about the Secret Realm Strategy Group. Suddenly he found it funny again. Lin Mo was so talented, it seemed normal to know about the Secret Realm Strategy Group. Luo Feiyu drank another big bowl of wine. I'm not a member of the Secret Realm Strategy Group, I have a friend who is, and he told me how to enter the second stage of the Black Rain Secret Realm. Seeking fresh flowers. I know that the information of the Secret Realm Strategy Group is not allowed to be spread, but that refers to large-scale leakage. If only telling one or two people, it doesn't matter much. I really want to join the Secret Realm Strategy Group, because that is where the top geniuses should go. But if you want to join the Secret Realm Strategy Group, you must at least clear a secret realm. In the second stage, I found that huge rune beast, and I wanted to kill it. But it was too strong. I was not its opponent, but accidentally got hit into the sea by it. I thought I was dead at the time, but I was very lucky. I had a soul magic weapon, which awakened me at the last moment and saved my life. Luo Feiyu spoke while drinking, his voice filled with helplessness and bitterness. Lin Mo could completely imagine the whole process. 0. When the shark rune beast appeared, it should have been fighting the giant bird rune beast. Luo Feiyu, who suddenly rushed out, was nothing at all. After Luo Feiyu fell into the sea, the shark rune beast did not continue to hunt down Luo Feiyu. But Luo Feiyu was impacted by the secret realm seawater. The seawater in the second stage secret realm is a rune that is even more powerful than black water. It will continuously impact the soul, producing strong illusions, making people deeply trapped in it and unable to extricate themselves. Once this happens, they will stay in the secret realm forever. Even if they are still alive, it is no different from being dead. Luo Feiyu's state of mind was damaged after experiencing various illusions after falling into the sea. Lin Mo asked, Senior brother Luo, do you still remember what illusions you saw? Luo Feiyu shook his head. I can't remember the specifics, only some vague images. I should have experienced many lifetimes, and I should have experienced love, hatred, and grudges. I should have killed a lot of people too. Lin Mo continued to ask, then does senior brother still know how long he was trapped in the Black Sea? Luo Feiyu nodded. I calculated the time after I escaped. I was in the Black Sea for about 3 days. 3 days. With the evolution speed of the illusion, 1 minute can make people experience a lifetime. In 3 days, Luo Feiyu didn't know how many lifetimes he had experienced. The joys, sorrows, love and hatred in these lifetimes must have pierced his heart into a hornet's nest. The most terrible thing is that he doesn't remember these illusions. Those traumas have become subconsciousness in his heart, an instinct. It's difficult to help him again. Chapter 1652. Luo Feiyu may still be saved. Now there are only two paths in front of Luo Feiyu. Either break through to God Venerable, let the soul leap into the Lost Star River, and use the power of the Lost Star River to cleanse the soul, which may be able to repair all the effects of the illusion and restore the state of mind. But this method is very difficult. Judging from Luo Feiyu's current situation, it is almost impossible to break through to God Venerable. Not only can he not break through, he may not even be able to keep his current cultivation level of minor God Venerable. There is also a second method, which is to erase all of Luo Feiyu's memories. But doing so will cause great damage to Luo Feiyu's soul. At that time, the problem of the state of mind may be solved, but Luo Feiyu will no longer be Luo Feiyu. It will still be difficult to break through to God Venerable in the future. For an ambitious cultivator, doing so is more uncomfortable than killing him. And this is a well-known method. I believe Luo Feiyu is also clear. The first one is already unlikely to be achieved. Luo Feiyu will not choose the second one. Now he has nowhere to go. Luo Feiyu drank several bowls of wine in a row, the feminine temperament gradually dissipated, his face was flushed after drinking, and his voice was a little louder. Junior brother doesn't have to worry, everyone has their own destiny, maybe this is my destined tribulation. After a while, when my cultivation level also decreases a little, the problem of the state of mind may not be a big problem. It's not bad to be a god king quietly, having lived for thousands of years. Anyway, I can still drink wine for thousands of years. Luo Feiyu poured wine into himself, bowl after bowl. He looked very free and easy, but the helplessness in it was all in the wine. The lower the realm, the lower the requirements for the state of mind. With Luo Feiyu's current situation, once his cultivation level starts to decline, it will be like a waterfall falling, unstoppable. In the end, he may stabilize at the first or second level of God King. Falling from minor God Venerable to the first or second level of God King is a terrible blow to any cultivator. Lin Mo was also drinking, he did not respond to Luo Feiyu's words. He was thinking about whether there were other methods. But after thinking about it, there was indeed no good way. Luo Feiyu hiccuped, originally, I wanted to gamble again and go to the Black Rain's secret realm again, and go to the Black Sea again. If I can make up for it this time, I can be reborn. If I can't make up for it, then I will sink into the Black Sea and never return. It's a pity, now the Black Rain's secret realm is gone, and I can't go even if I want to. That Lin Mo is really a genius, clearing 3 secret realms in a row, it is really extraordinary. I heard that little Lin Mo also came from a small world, like Junior Brother, has Junior Brother ever met him? Luo Feiyu said to himself, drinking while talking, completely unaware that Lin Mo was not listening to him. When he mentioned going to the Black Sea again, he gave Lin Mo a reminder. The root of the Black Rain's secret realm is a corner of an ancient rune, and this corner of the ancient rune is now quietly staying in his soul. What Black Sea and Black Water are all evolved from this corner of the ancient rune. The one who tied the bell must untie it. If he can control a corner of the ancient rune, perhaps Luo Feiyu can be saved. It's not about being a good person, Lin Mo also hopes that he can control this corner of the ancient rune. If he can help Luo Feiyu while controlling a corner of the ancient rune, it is not impossible. Lin Mo suddenly asked, Senior Brother Luo, is there a time chamber here? The ancient rune is not easy to control, it will definitely take a lot of time. Lin Mo doesn't know exactly how much time it will take, it may take many years. Making reasonable use of the time chamber is naturally the best way. Luo Feiyu nodded, there is no time chamber in this star system. In the primary area, there is only one time chamber for every 1,000 star systems. The closest time chamber is located in the star system designated primary 14,000. But Junior Brother, what do you need to go to a time chamber for? The cultivation effect there isn't actually that useful. Time chambers can save time, but they distort the laws, making it more difficult to comprehend them. Overall, the efficiency boost from time chambers isn't actually that significant. Moreover, time chambers aren't cheap, so not many people choose to go there. Lin Mo said, I have some insights and want to cultivate in a time chamber. Luo Feiyu readily said, since junior brother wants to go, then I, Luo, will take you. The post-drinking Luo Feiyu was less effeminate and more straightforward. With a wave of his hand, he stored his wine jar. In just a short while, he had downed nearly half of the 500 gin vintage wine. Reeking of alcohol, Luo Feiyu led Lin Mo toward the teleportation array. The Divine City star region is vast, and naturally there are teleportation arrays between star systems. It's just that Lin Mo had never had the opportunity to use one. Back then, when his identity was exposed, a large group of people came looking for him, and the first thing they did was guard the teleportation arrays. How could he use them? As soon as he went, he would definitely be surrounded. Lin Mo is now a celebrity-like figure. Luo Feiyu seemed to deliberately try to get himself drunk, flying erratically in the air, sometimes high, sometimes low. The teleportation arrays in Divine City aren't cheap. Each teleportation costs 1 point of Divine City merit. Without Divine City merit, one can only operate within the same star system, or, like Lin Mo, fly to other star systems. Fortunately, the distances between star systems in the Divine City star region aren't far. At the speed of a Divine King, it only takes 100 days to fly from one star system to another if they are close, and a few hundred days if they are far. This time, Lin Mo wanted to go to the primary 14,000 star system, which spanned hundreds of star systems, a distance of over 1,000 light-years. In this case, flying would be a bit unrealistic. Even at Lin Mo's speed, it would take 2,000 years to fly 1,000 light-years. Of course, this only applies to cultivators below the Divine King realm. For divine sovereigns, crossing hundreds of light-years is not a difficult task. Luo Feiyu was very polite and directly paid the teleportation fee for Lin Mo. Junior brother, how can I let you pay when you come to my Luo family? This teleportation fee, I, your senior brother, will cover it. Luo Feiyu patted his chest. He was even more drunk than before. Lin Mo didn't refuse his kindness. The teleportation array flickered, taking the two to the primary 14,000 star system. During the teleportation process, Lin Mo felt like he was passing through layers of membranes. It was as if someone's attention was focused on him, scanning him. Lin Mo could feel that this gaze came from the Human Emperor Network. The Human Emperor Network would check the identity of everyone being teleported. Lin Mo once again felt the extraordinariness of the Human Emperor Network. Space was distorted during teleportation. Even in this state, the Human Emperor Network could perform detection, which showed the extent of its power. If it detected a problem with the target, it could even attack directly in this state. There was no doubt that the Human Emperor Network had this ability. Chapter 1653, The Special Yellow Sand Star System. The primary 14,000 feet star system is a yellow sand star system. The entire star system consists of 8 planets, 1 star, and 7 planets. No one lives here, but there are troops stationed. The entire star system is covered in yellow sand. Yellow sand flies inside the planets and outside the planets. Flying in the yellow sand, the sand is blown by the wind and hits the face, crackling. The space around Lin Mo is slightly distorted, and the bone hell blocked all the yellow sand. Luo Feiyu's body also emitted a faint light, isolating the yellow sand. Blown by the strong wind, Luo Feiyu's drunkenness seemed to have diminished somewhat. It is said that a long time ago, there was a starry sky behemoth stronger than a divine sovereign here, named Yellow Sand. It was killed by a human expert, and its body turned into yellow sand, which has been scattered in the star system ever since. This yellow sand will never leave the star system, flying and flying. I don't know how many years it has been flying. This place is no longer suitable for human survival. Later, the military took over and transformed it, setting up a time chamber here. You also know that a special material is needed to set up a time chamber. It seems to be called time stone. This material is very rare, so there are not many time chambers. Lin Mo is naturally aware. The most critical material for setting up a time chamber is the time stone. After setting up a formation with the time stone, a time chamber can be set up inside the formation. Lin Mo had been to a time chamber once in the Vermilion Bird Star region. There were also time chambers in the Ring Mountain continent. However, the number of time chambers in the 4 great star regions is not large, and they can be counted even when added together. Now it seems that there are not many time chambers in the Divine City star region either. The key is that the number of time stones is too scarce. Luo Feiyu suddenly whispered half-jokingly, let me secretly tell you, we humans don't actually lack time stones, but they are strategic materials, and some of them have to be supplied to the Human Emperor network. Maintaining the Human Emperor cultivation ground requires a lot of time stones. Lin Mo smiled and said, it's better to say less about this. Luo Feiyu hadn't completely sobered up and snorted softly, it's okay, this is just our guess, there are many people outside who say this. In fact, even if it's true, it's nothing. The Human Emperor network is of great significance to our human race, and the Human Emperor cultivation ground is even more so. Even if it takes away all the resources, we won't have any objections. Luo Feiyu waved his hand, looking very generous. The yellow sand suddenly became chaotic, and a sandstorm suddenly came. Energy fluctuations overlapped, colliding in the sandstorm. The energy was strong, and the bone hell was violently distorted and deformed, almost reaching its limit in an instant. Divine Sovereign, Lin Mo felt the powerful power of the law. A divine sovereign was fighting in the sandstorm. He instantly put away the bone hell, allowing the energy to impact his body, and the undead legion shared the damage for him. The other party was not targeting him, but just the aftermath of the battle. However, from the aftermath of the battle, it could also be felt that the divine sovereign fighting in front was at least at the third level of the divine sovereign realm. Turning to look at Luo Feiyu's body was glowing at this moment. The clothes on his body were a magic weapon, shining brightly to block the impact for him. However, facing the power of the divine sovereign, this magic garment, which was only at the divine king realm, obviously couldn't last long. Luo Feiyu obviously wanted to retreat, but the power of the divine sovereign collided wave after wave, like shackles, making him unable to move. Lin Mo pointed his finger, and a golden armor talisman appeared at his fingertip, flying directly to Luo Feiyu's body. The golden armor talisman exploded, turning into a light golden armor, blocking most of the impact for Luo Feiyu. Retreat. After taking a breath, Lin Mo shouted softly and immediately took him back. The two retreated nearly 1,000 miles in an instant before slowing down. Lin Mo was a little puzzled, why would there be a divine sovereign fighting here? With the power of a divine sovereign, destroying a star system is not a difficult task. If fighting inside a planet, the planet can be destroyed in minutes. Luo Feiyu's face was slightly pale, and he returned to his usual appearance. After this tossing, all the drunkenness disappeared. Luo Feiyu smiled bitterly, I was just about to say, although the yellow sand behemoth died back then, its flesh and blood remained. The flesh and blood transformed the entire star system, and this star system became extremely strong, able to withstand the power of a divine sovereign. Later, a type of monster called sand beasts appeared in the galaxy. At first, no one paid much attention, but in the last 10,000 years, their numbers have surged, and their strength has also been increasing. It is said that the strongest sand beasts have reached the God Venerable realm. To be on the safe side, God Venerables often come to eliminate them. You can take a look, there are missions here. Many people have accepted the task of eliminating sand beasts. Lin Mo contacted the Human Emperor network and indeed found corresponding missions. The missions spanned the entire yellow sand galaxy. It wasn't just on one planet, all planets in the galaxy had sand beasts. Luo Feiyu chuckled, killing a God King realm sand beast earns you 1,000 points, and a minor God Venerable sand beast earns you 10,000 points. As for God Venerable realm sand beasts, each one can earn you 10 divine city merit points. If you can kill an elite level sand beast, you can even get 100 divine city merit points. The rewards are very generous. Killing a God Venerable realm sand beast directly earns divine city merit points. Killing one sand beast is equivalent to completing the basic mission of a secret realm. Seeing Lin Moyu's expression, Luo Feiyu couldn't help but laugh. Are you thinking that you can earn a lot of divine city merit points by killing some sand beasts here? Sand beasts aren't that easy to kill. These guys will run away as soon as they see they can't win. If you can't kill them with absolute power, they will disappear without a trace. 650 I've been here before and fought sand beasts. I know how troublesome these guys are. Lin Moyu understood in his heart, feeling that this was normal. Otherwise, this place would have been full of God Venerables long ago, and no matter how many sand beasts there were, it wouldn't be enough to kill. God Venerables also need divine city merit points. They also need to increase their level or use divine city merit points to exchange for some good magical treasures. The higher the level, the better the magical treasures that can be exchanged. In many cases, God Venerables value divine city merit points even more than other cultivators. Because their goals are higher and bigger, and they need even more. Boom! A loud noise came from the front, and the two saw yellow sand soaring into the sky, like a volcanic eruption. Several minutes later, the yellow sand fell from the sky, and everything returned to calm, even the sandstorm disappeared. A middle-aged man was standing in the air, his face not looking good. Lin Moyu saw his information, A. Jian Shen, Third Order God Venerable, A. Jian Shen's face seemed very gloomy, his brows tightly furrowed. He glanced at Lin Moyu and Luo Feiyu from afar, then turned and left. After he left, Luo Feiyu whispered, he failed to kill the sand beast, A. Lin Moyu had actually already seen that when the yellow sand soared into the sky just now, he vaguely saw a monster burrow into the earth and yellow sand, disappearing. No wonder Jian Shen's face was so gloomy. The cooked duck flew away. No one would have a good face. Chapter 1654, The Energy Source of the Time Chamber Formation. Lin Moyu and Luo Feiyu did not encounter any sand beasts on the way. According to Luo Feiyu's explanation, the number of sand beasts on the star where the time chamber was located was not large, and the chances of encountering them were very low. Moreover, sand beasts have a strong sense of territory. If you encounter a sand beast, as long as you fly faster and leave their territory, they generally won't chase after you. Sand beasts have no intelligence, only instinct, the instinct of wild beasts. Lin Moyu vaguely guessed why the human race issued an order to eliminate sand beasts. It was to prevent the revival of the former yellow sand behemoth if the number of sand beasts became too large. Or rather, that yellow sand behemoth was never killed at all. This yellow sand was its flesh and blood, and the sand beasts were more like parasites in its body. The wise predecessors of the human race definitely had the ability to completely obliterate the opponent, but why didn't they do it back then? It's worth pondering. Reaching the other shore realm, they would definitely not do meaningless things. Since they were kept alive instead of being completely exterminated, there must be a use for them. When Lin Moyu saw the time chamber, he had the answer. The time chamber was shrouded in a huge formation, with more than 100 stone houses evenly distributed at various nodes of the formation. At the same time, there was also a palace located in the center of the formation, controlling the operation of the entire formation. When approaching the time chamber, Lin Moyu heard a sound similar to a heartbeat. At the same time, he sensed a force of vitality. The yellow sand behemoth was indeed not killed. Its heart was taken to serve as the formation eye, continuously providing energy for the time chamber. The dignified other shore realm yellow sand behemoth had its heart taken away to serve as a formation eye. It must be said that this ending was very tragic. But it also revealed the cruelty of the great world. If one's strength is not enough, they will eventually be reduced to dust, and even be unable to live or die. Lin Moyu finally understood why sand beasts were born and why they had to be eliminated. The other shore realm behemoth did have the possibility of revival, after all, it was not really dead. Seeing that Lin Moyu's state was a bit strange, Luo Feiyu couldn't help but ask, junior brother, what's wrong with you? Lin Moyu looked at the time chamber, as if seeing a heart in the center of the formation. Senior brother Luo, have you heard a heartbeat? Question mark. Heartbeat. Luo Feiyu listened carefully for several seconds. I didn't hear anything. It seems that the other shore realm big shot went through special treatment, and ordinary people can't hear it. Lin Moyu understood that the reason why he could hear the behemoth's heartbeat was because his soul was strong enough. And Luo Feiyu's soul realm was not enough, so he couldn't hear it. Suddenly, a figure flew from the distant sky and landed on the formation of the time chamber, shouting at the two, you go in. The person who came was Jian Shen, whom they had just met. He was even more serious and even a little anxious than before. Luo Feiyu was a little strange. Lin Moyu turned his head and looked at the outside world, whispering, go in first. The two passed through the formation. The inside and outside of the formation were two different worlds, and no sound from the outside could be heard at all. This formation can not only change the flow of time, but also has extremely strong defensive power. Luo Feiyu asked strangely, his temper is a bit weird. Lin Moyu looked at the outside world through the formation. No, he is saving us. Huh, Luo Feiyu was a little puzzled. Lin Moyu whispered, they're coming, As soon as he finished speaking, the earth shook violently, and sandstorms suddenly appeared, and not just in one place, sandstorms appeared in all directions. The sandstorms connected the sky and the earth, and in the blink of an eye, surrounded the time chamber formation. The place where the formation was located became an isolated island. Alarms blared within the formation, the doors of one time chamber after another were opened, and the cultivators inside came out. Cultivators also flew out of the palace, looking at the sandstorms outside the formation. Lin Moyu frowned slightly. He felt that this formation didn't seem that simple. 5 god venerables were actually arranged to guard this place, which was a bit of a luxury. 5 god venerables, plus Jian Shen, there were a total of 6 god venerables. Adding together the God King realm cultivators, there were also 20 people. Luo Feiyu asked in a low voice, what's going on? Lin Moyu looked around, have you heard of a beast tide? Luo Feiyu choked. He naturally knew about beast tides. Are you saying that sand beasts are going to attack the formation? Lin Moyu hummed. Under the center of the formation, under the palace, was the heart of the former yellow sand behemoth. The sand beasts in the sandstorms in front of them could be regarded as the offspring of the yellow sand behemoth. It seemed that there was no problem with the descendants coming to rescue their father. Several god venerables looked at the god kings in the formation and said in a low voice, you stay here and don't come out, After saying that, the 5 god venerables flew out of the formation at the same time, standing side by side with Jian Shen. They seemed to be saying something, but their voices were blocked by the formation, making it impossible to hear them from within. However, Lin Moyu was an exception. The formation's isolation was ineffective against him, and he clearly heard the divine sovereign's conversation. Within the sandstorm, numerous beast shadows appeared. One after another, sand beasts emerged, varying in size and strength. The number of sand beasts was astonishing, arriving in overwhelming numbers. Their immense aura crashed against the formation, with at least 20 of the sand beasts being at the divine sovereign realm. Luo Feiyu felt as if he had been slapped in the face. He had just said that the number of sand beasts was not that large. Especially the divine sovereign sand beasts, which were even rarer. Now, wasn't he just contradicting himself? The light of the stars was suddenly obscured as a massive sand cloud appeared in the sky. The yellow sand from the starry sky was drawn in, forming a sand cloud. Within the sand cloud, 3 even larger sand beasts appeared, all elite-grade sand beasts, each worth 100 divine city merit points. Elite-grade sand beasts possessed combat power of at least the 5th rank of the divine sovereign realm, or even the 6th rank. They were extremely difficult to deal with. Even the time formation could not completely isolate the aura of the elite-grade sand beasts. The powerful aura permeated through the formation, causing the expressions of several divine kings to change drastically. Luo Feiyu's expression was solemn. 3 elite-grade sand beasts, 20 divine sovereign realm sand beasts, and countless divine king realm sand beasts. Why are so many sand beasts here? It seems like they planned this. But it doesn't matter. As long as the divine sovereigns can hold on for a while, help will arrive soon. Outside the star system, there was an army stationed. As long as the army moved out, dealing with these sand beasts would not be a problem. Lin Moyu shook his head. The sand beasts have destroyed the teleportation array, not only on this planet but also on the other 6 planets. The army has indeed received the message, but it will take an hour for them to arrive. An hour. It was hard to say whether the 6 divine sovereigns could hold out for an hour. Luo Feiyu asked in a low voice, how do you know that? Lin Moyu did not hide anything. I heard it from the divine sovereigns. Luo Feiyu did not doubt Lin Moyu's words. He instinctively chose to believe him. But others did not believe him. Lin Moyu's words were heard by the 20 divine kings present, and someone immediately snorted coldly, a mere 5th rank divine king is talking such nonsense. You're just a 5th rank divine king. Even we can't hear them, yet you claim you can. The sand beasts destroyed the teleportation array. What a joke. How could sand beasts know how to destroy the teleportation array? Sand beasts have no intelligence, only instinct. How would they understand these things? One by one, they questioned Lin Moyu. Among them were 9th rank divine kings and small divine sovereigns like Luo Feiyu. Chapter 1655. This kid is too awesome. Faced with everyone's doubts, Lin Moyu did not react at all. He was thinking about other problems. Luo Feiyu, however, expressed his dissatisfaction. You don't know anything. Just because you can't hear it doesn't mean others can't. If you don't believe me, go out and ask. Ask the divine sovereigns if that's the case. Even if you don't dare to go out, can't you read faces? Do the divine sovereigns look happy? Can't you tell how serious the situation is? Luo Feiyu's words immediately aroused the dissatisfaction of the crowd, and one by one, they prepared to attack Luo Feiyu. Suddenly, the voice of a divine sovereign rang out in the formation, "Everyone, enter the main hall. The teleportation array is damaged, and reinforcements will arrive in an hour." The crowd was stunned and looked at Lin Moyu with strange expressions. Lin Moyu was not talking nonsense. He really heard it. Lin Moyu ignored the others and said to Luo Feiyu, "Let's go to the main hall." With that, he took the lead and flew into the main hall. The main hall was empty, seemingly containing nothing. Lin Moyu could sense that the main hall itself was a very powerful magical treasure with extremely strong defensive capabilities. At the same time, the main hall seemed to have other functions. Standing in the hall, the heartbeat of the yellow sand beast became clearer. Lin Moyu closed his eyes and sensed, quickly grasping the source of the heartbeat, which was directly below the main hall. The eye of the soul opened, and soul power surged. In an instant, Lin Moyu saw a different scene. On the floor, walls, and ceiling of the main hall, in every corner, countless runes were engraved. These runes formed a complex rune array. Lin Moyu recognized every rune and had even completely mastered them. This rune array, he quickly saw through the essence of the rune array and understood its function. This main hall not only controlled the operation of the time array but also suppressed the heart of the yellow sand beast. In addition to control and suppression, the rune array had another function. That was extraction. It extracted energy from the heart of the yellow sand beast, but no one knew exactly what was extracted. The heartbeat of the yellow sand beast became very rhythmic, as if transmitting some kind of signal. This signal could only be heard by the sand beasts. Lin Moyu could only barely sense a trace of it and could not hear it clearly at all. But Lin Moyu could imagine that today's beast tide was a self-rescue attempt by the yellow sand beast. It wanted to be resurrected, it wanted to escape, and it no longer wanted to be used as an array or as a tool for extracting energy. The yellow sand beast possesses intelligence. It was common for starry sky beasts in the other shore realm to possess intelligence. It would be strange if they didn't have intelligence. So, it secretly planned this beast tide. In its plan, the possibility of this beast tide succeeding was not low. CFED 20 Divine Sovereign Realm Sand Beasts, plus 3 elite grade sand beasts equivalent to the 6th rank of the Divine Sovereign Realm. It was impossible for only 6 human divine sovereigns to hold out for an hour. Among the 6 human divine sovereigns, the strongest was only at the 5th rank of the Divine Sovereign Realm, and they could at most contend with 1 elite grade sand beast. Lin Moyu finished analyzing and knew that today's matter might be a little troublesome. Only then did he realize that everyone except Luo Feiyu was far away from him. The way they looked at him seemed to reveal fear and shock. What's wrong with them? Lin Moyu was very strange. Luo Feiyu whispered, "Junior brother, your eyes were very scary just now, even scarier than a divine sovereign." In fact, he didn't say everything. Lin Moyu's eyes were not only scary, but his aura was also scary. When the eye of the soul was fully opened, waves of soul pressure uncontrollably emanated. These people were only divine kings and small divine sovereigns. Being impacted by the soul pressure of the other shore realm, they naturally felt suppressed and uncomfortable. The difference in their levels was too great to resist. So that's how it is. Lin Moyu chuckled silently. Just now, he was only focused on checking the rune array and didn't consider this at all. But that wasn't important. Boom, the ground shook violently. The rumbling sound entered the main hall, and everyone looked outside the hall. The battle outside the hall had already begun. The sand beasts were battling the god sovereigns, and at the same time, a large number of sand beasts were charging the Great Time Formation. Through the main hall, one could see sand beasts covering the sky and the ground. Their eyes glowed with a red light, incredibly ferocious. The Great Time Formation trembled continuously, becoming more and more violent. The sand beasts frantically attacked the formation, as if they would not stop until they had broken it down. Lin Moyu walked out of the hall and saw the true state of the battle. The situation was not optimistic. The 6 god sovereigns were firmly held back by 2 elite-level sand beasts and another 6 god sovereign-level sand beasts. The remaining elite level sand beast, with a full 14 god sovereign level sand beasts and over 100,000 god king level sand beasts, was launching a frenzied, bombardment-style attack on the Great Time Formation. The Great Time Formation was very strong, with extremely powerful defenses. The Stone of Time provided the formation with the Law of Time. The Law of Time changed the flow of time within a certain range, offsetting a large number of attacks. As a first-tier law, the Law of Time could not only be used to assist cultivation but also to fight enemies. All attacks accelerated hundreds of times when they were still 10 meters away from the formation. Time distorted the laws within the attacks, greatly weakening them. Lin Moyu saw it all and understood the essence. The Law of Time is indeed powerful. But no matter how powerful, the power of the law provided by the Stone of Time was still limited, and the formation would not be able to hold out for long. Not to mention an hour, it was likely that it would not even last 10 minutes. Lin Moyu could see that the 6 god sovereigns were very anxious. What they were anxious about was not whether the formation could be defended, nor the life and death of themselves and others. But once the formation was destroyed and the yellow sand giant beast was resurrected, that would be a real big trouble. A starry sky giant beast of the other shore realm was resurrected in the human race's star field. Even if there were other shore realm experts to kill it, the losses caused by the great battle and the number of deaths would be incalculable. At least dozens of nearby star systems would have to be abandoned. So, they absolutely could not let the yellow sand giant beast be resurrected, but they had no way to do anything about it, except for being anxious and helpless. Lin Moyu could think of the things they could think of. Immediately, he rushed out of the formation and appeared on the battlefield. Go back, don't come to die. This is not a place for you to come, go back quickly. Go back to the main hall. Several god sovereigns scolded him one after another, their tone very stern. They were kind, not wanting Lin Moyu to die in vain. However, Lin Moyu did not act, but directly pointed out a finger. Fusion art, time curse, stellar level art, undead gaze. Red light spread out, covering a large area. For the first time, Lin Moyu did not control the range of the curse, but instead, covered as large an area as possible. With a loud bang, most of the planet was shrouded in red light. Countless sand beasts exploded and shattered on the spot. In an instant, the sand beasts were emptied. All sand beasts below the 7th rank of God King died completely. The remaining sand beasts below the God Sovereign realm also screamed at the same time, extremely painful. In the sky, the Eye of the Undead, thousands of meters wide, appeared. In the gray flames, the emotionless Eye of the Undead, filled with the aura of death, opened. It swept across the audience, and in an instant, the sand beasts of the 8th rank of God King also died collectively. Even the souls of the God Sovereign level sand beasts were impacted, and the offensive stopped. With just 2 spells, most of the sand beasts were killed or injured. The God Sovereigns who were fighting couldn't help but be stunned, and a thought popped up in their minds. This kid is too fierce. Chapter 1656. You go back, leave it to me here. 2 spells directly killed most of the sand beasts. Although the ones killed were only sand beasts of the 7th and 8th ranks of the God King, it was fierce enough. After all, in the eyes of others, Lin Moyu's own realm was only the 5th rank of the God King. For a little guy of the 5th rank of the God King to possess such combat power was already rare and valuable, definitely belonging to the level of genius. Lin Moyu's actions caused the sand beast's attack to stop for at least 2 seconds. The Great Time Formation also got a chance to breathe. Lin Moyu felt that he was locked on by several powerful souls, at least 3 God Sovereign level sand beasts had locked onto him. Before his eyes, yellow sand was flying, and 3 God Sovereign level sand beasts pounced on him at the same time. At the same time, a God Sovereign level sand beast spewed out a yellow beam of light, directly hitting the Eye of the Undead. The Eye of the Undead collapsed on the spot. Be careful. Go back quickly. Several human God Sovereigns shouted urgently, but they were firmly held back by their opponents and could not free themselves. However, Lin Moyu was only 1 step away from the Great Time Formation. He could return to the Great Time Formation by taking 1 step back. Lin Moyu remained motionless, with no intention of retreating. He's courting death. It is impossible to fight against a God Sovereign with a God King. He is clearly a genius, how could he be so unwise? The human God Sovereigns all felt regret. They did not want Lin Moyu to fall. Although there were many geniuses in the human race, who would dislike having more geniuses? For a genius like Lin Moyu to live well was naturally the best. Ah! Jian Shen roared angrily, and the aura of his whole body soared. He instantly broke free from his opponent, and with one step, he appeared in front of Lin Moyu. Breaking army spear. In the angry shout, a long spear appeared in his hand, and the long spear danced into a whirlwind, stabbing out thousands of brilliant rays of light. The rays of light were like arrows, piercing through the sky and penetrating the yellow sand. The three god sovereign level sand beasts who had just rushed over retreated one after another to avoid its sharp edge. Go back! Jian Shen shouted angrily. Lin Moyu saw that there was a wound on his chest. The injury was not light, and the bone was visible. A group of yellow laws raged on the wound, making it impossible for the wound to heal. This was a law belonging to the sand beast, with extremely strong corrosiveness. Obviously, Jian Shen had paid some price in order to come and save him. Go back! Jian Shen roared again, with a hint of urgency in his voice. It was estimated that in the next second, he would have to throw Lin Moyu back himself. Lin Moyu flicked his finger, and a gray and white light fell on Jian Shen's body, and Jian Shen's wound quickly began to recover. The power of death in the law of immortality drove away the law of the sand beast with stronger corrosiveness. At the same time, the power of life treated Jian Shen. The recovery ability of the God Sovereign was originally very strong, and in the blink of an eye, the wound had recovered. Jian Shen looked at Lin Moyu with a slightly surprised look, not expecting that Lin Moyu was also proficient in the law of healing. But the more it is like this, the more we can't let him die. Just as he was about to say something more, Jian Shen's expression suddenly changed as a powerful soul locked onto him. The two were enveloped in a huge shadow as an elite sand beast charged over. Facing an elite sand beast, Jian Shen, who was only at the third level of God King, also had no confidence. The only thing he could do now was to throw Lin Mo back. As for himself, he couldn't care less. But before he could act, Lin Mo had already taken the initiative. Space twisted, and undead flames appeared out of thin air, burning fiercely. Powerful auras emerged as the Legion rulers appeared on the field, along with their legions. Death Knight Legion, Bone Dragon Legion, the numbers were uncountable. They densely occupied every corner, and almost instantly, they had occupied the entire battlefield. When it comes to numbers, Lin Mo has never lost. In the next second, the Legion rulers, with their law rivers above their heads, gathered the power of their respective legions and launched a fatal blow towards the charging elite sand beast. When the majestic power collided, terrifying energy exploded on the spot. Sand beasts below the God Emperor realm were sent flying, and nearly all 200 Legion rulers flew back. Golden armor runes flashed and intertwined in the void, and the golden armors overlapped each other, becoming extremely thick. In this collision, many golden armor runes shattered on the spot, with only about half remaining intact. The Legion rulers only had the combat power of the first level of God Emperor, far inferior to the elite sand beast. However, relying on their numerical advantage and the defense of the golden armor runes, they forcibly collided head-on with the elite sand beast. The scene became strange again. The suddenly emerging huge legions, each looking extremely ferocious and terrifying, and with very powerful auras. The number was even more astonishing, many times more than the sand beasts. Lin Mo didn't stop, and with a thought, the Legion rulers charged out again. With the law rivers above their heads, the legions, laws rolled down, and the legions collectively rushed into the law rivers. At this moment, the Legion rulers' combat power was raised to the peak of the first level of God Emperor. Coupled with the numerical advantage, they could at least hold the elite sand beast for a while. As for the other sand beasts, Lin Mo snapped his fingers again. Skeleton generals appeared out of thin air, also in astonishing numbers. Each of the appearing skeleton generals was fused with golden armor runes. As soon as they appeared, they brandished their long swords, blasting out a sky full of sword energy, and countless sand beasts were swallowed by the sword energy. Almost in the blink of an eye, except for the 20 God Emperor realm sand beasts and the 3 elite sand beasts, the rest of the sand beasts were all dead. The situation on the battlefield changed rapidly, the transformation was too fast, and by the time they reacted, the battle had turned into this. The sand beasts died, turning into earth yellow crystals that fell on the ground. These were sand beast crystals, also proof of killing sand beasts. The ground was full of beautiful crystals, countless in number. Lin Mo's wave of operations, who knows how many points he earned. These sand beasts were all killed by Lin Mo, and the points naturally fell on Lin Mo's head. With the human emperor network present, no one could steal them. Actually, the overall situation has been decided by now. The skeleton generals summoned by Lin Mo, plus the legion rulers. Even if they can't defeat the God Emperor realm and elite sand beasts, they can at least hold them for a while. At this time, Lin Mo heard a violent heartbeat sound from the time array. The heartbeat sound vibrated like thunder, even shaking the time array. The people hiding in the hall flew out one after another, their faces pale, as if they had experienced something terrible. The human race God Emperors, expressions changed drastically at the same time. Not good, the yellow sand giant beast wants to break through the array's suppression. The central hall of the time array not only has the ability to control the flow of time, but is also key to suppressing the yellow sand giant beast. But the array needs someone to control it, and there are God Emperors stationed here all year round to control the hall and suppress the yellow sand giant beast. Lin Mo had seen the runes in the hall in the past, and knew the function of the hall. Seniors, please return to the hall to control the formation and suppress the yellow sand giant beast. Leave this place to me, I will hold back the sand beasts. Several God Emperors looked at Lin Mo at the same time, their eyes uncertain, obviously asking, can you do it? Jian Shen was more direct, then I'll leave it to you. This matter can only be done this way, there is no other way. Regardless of whether Lin Mo can do it or not, they can only choose to believe in Lin Mo now. The skeleton generals flew out, blocking the sand beasts for the God Emperors. The skeleton generals intervened in the battle, giving the human race God Emperors a chance to escape, and they quickly returned to the hall to control the formation and suppress the yellow sand giant beast's heart. And the skeleton generals launched a fierce attack on the God Emperor realm sand beasts. The sword energy landed on the sand beasts, and could not cause any damage to them. At most, it would only scratch the skin, but the most important thing was not this, but the skeleton generals used their absolute numerical advantage to tightly surround the sand beasts. The skeleton generals' power was only at the small God Emperor level, still some distance away from the God Emperor realm. Even with the huge numerical advantage, it was impossible to be a match for the sand beasts. There was a considerable gap between a true God Emperor and a small God Emperor. Only some of the top geniuses among the human race could possess God Emperor realm combat power when they were at the small God Emperor realm. Only geniuses among geniuses like Xiao Sheng could reverse kill a God Emperor in the small God Emperor realm. Although the skeleton generals were strong, they were not geniuses after all, and did not have the ability to fight across realms. If it were before, no matter how many skeleton generals there were, it would be impossible to stop the God Emperor realm sand beasts. One attack from a sand beast could kill hundreds or thousands of skeleton generals. But now it was different, with the golden armor runes, the skeleton general's defense reached the God Emperor level first. Even if a God Emperor wanted to break the golden armor runes, they would need several attacks. The skeleton general's golden armor runes overlapped each other, interlocked, and there was another layer after one layer was broken. In this way, the skeleton general's defense was strengthened again. Even if they couldn't defeat a God Emperor, they could at least hold them for a while. The sand beasts spewed yellow sand, each attack was enough to kill a skeleton general in seconds, but they were all blocked by the golden armor runes. The golden armor runes continued to shatter, and there was a new layer after one layer was broken. There were only 23 sand beasts left, of which 20 were in the God Emperor realm, the highest being only at the third level of God Emperor. Their true combat power was inferior to Jian Shen. The 3 elite sand beasts all had the combat power of the 5th level of God Emperor or above, which was the most troublesome. Lin Mo differentiated the team, dividing the 200 legion rulers into 3 groups, surrounding the 3 elite sand beasts respectively. Outside the legion rulers, there were still 100,000 skeleton generals, surrounding the battlefield tightly. And the 20 God Emperor realm sand beasts, each also enjoyed the siege of 100,000 skeleton generals. Lin Mo dispatched more than 2 million skeleton generals. Looking from a distance, it was impossible to see the specific situation inside the battlefield, only a ball of golden light could be seen. One could vaguely identify pieces of golden armor. The sand beasts charged wildly in the encirclement, attacking frantically, and the golden armor continued to shatter. It was just that there were too many overlapping golden armor runes, and it was impossible to completely shatter them for a while. The skeleton generals dragged the sand beasts in this way, preventing them from attacking the time array. The yellow sand giant beast's heart was still beating violently, and it was still struggling. But with the control of the god emperors, the suppression power of the hall was fully exerted, and the time array was not attacked by external forces, the situation had begun to stabilize. Lin Mo looked back at the array and said in a low voice, "It's time to earn divine city merits." Pointing a finger towards the sky. Star-level spell. Summon Skeleton King. In an instant, the sky turned dark, and the gray undead flames began to burn fiercely again, dominating the heavens and the earth. Within the flames, the skeleton throne emerged, with the Skeleton King sitting upon it, exuding an awe-inspiring aura. The Skeleton King rose, his bone cloak fluttering, and the skeleton throne transformed into a refined two-handed bone sword, landing in the Skeleton King's hand. Lin Mo cast a golden armor rune, which landed on the Skeleton King. With a hum, the Skeleton King was immediately clad in a layer of golden armor. Then, an inexplicable aura rose from Lin Mo's body. Source spell. Army Enhancement. Army Enhancement Fusion Degree 150% consumes soul power to enter the Army Enhancement state. In the Army Enhancement state, the damage dealt by oneself and all summoned creatures is increased tenfold. The Army Enhancement state continuously consumes soul power, which can be replenished by killing enemies. In the Army Enhancement state, a portion of the obtained soul power can be absorbed and retained as one's own power. However, external soul power contains impurities and is best refined and purified before absorption. The Army Enhancement spell increased the Skeleton King's damage tenfold. The Skeleton King, who had already reached the second stage of God Venerate, now possessed a destructive power equivalent to the third stage of God Venerate. Combined with the God-slaying sword, it would definitely bring surprises. Lin Mo had calculated that activating the Army Enhancement spell alone could last at least 10 minutes with his soul power. 10 minutes was enough to do many things. The 10,000-meter-tall Skeleton King, carrying the aura of a god Venerate, with boundless undead flames, appeared in the world. The undead flames burned the heavens and the earth, and the Skeleton King locked onto a god Venerate sand beast, and the sword light flared. Spell. God-slaying. The god-slaying sword was the Skeleton King's strongest strike, ignoring the target's defense, slaying both flesh and soul. In a sharp roar, the god Venerate sand beast collapsed with a bang. A bright and enormous yellow crystal fell from the sky. The god Venerate sand beast was instantly killed by the Skeleton King's sword. 10 points of divine city merit acquired. Lin Mo muttered softly, compared to performing basic tasks in the secret realm, these 10 points of divine city merit were relatively easier to obtain. His gaze swept across, and the god Venerate sand beasts, one by one, turned into divine city merit in his eyes. However, he didn't consider the elite-level sand beasts. Even if they stood there, he probably couldn't kill them. The Skeleton King aimed at the next target, raised his bone sword, and charged over. The god-slaying sword had a cooldown time, but the Skeleton King wouldn't be idle during this period. The death of the god Venerate sand beast seemed to trigger a switch. The yellow sand beast's heartbeat began to accelerate rapidly, becoming even more intense. The great formation that had just stabilized began to shake and tremble again. Lin Mo frowned slightly. Is this guy going to fight to the death? The elite-level sand beasts seemed to receive an order and simultaneously roared to the sky. They spewed out yellow beams of light, which knocked away the Legion overlords, forcibly breaking through the encirclement formed by the skeleton god generals. After spewing out the beams of light, the elite-level sand beast's aura quickly weakened, instantly dropping to the third stage of God Venerate. The elite-level sand beasts turned into ordinary God Venerate sand beasts. Their size also decreased accordingly. Lin Mo didn't quite understand what they were trying to do, but he knew it definitely wasn't a good thing and should be related to the yellow sand beast. 1.02 seconds later, the elite-level sand beasts weakened again, and judging from their aura, only the first stage of God Venerate remained. At this time, the remaining God Venerate sand beasts also simultaneously roared to the sky and spewed out beams of light. The beams of light carried immense impact, forcibly knocking away the skeleton god generals, and shooting straight into the sky. At the same time as spewing out the beams of light, the sand beast's aura also declined. Suddenly, Lin Mo felt uneasy, and irregular energy fluctuations surged from the sand beasts' bodies. They're going to self-destruct. The thought arose, and without thinking, Lin Mo immediately wanted to recall the skeleton god generals. But the recall failed, and the surrounding space was locked by a strange force, preventing the skeleton god generals from returning. It's the power of the yellow sand beast. Lin Moyu's heart trembled wildly, and he suddenly looked up at the sky. In the sky, a giant yellow eye appeared. The yellow eye was indifferent and devoid of hatred, staring intently at him. The feeling was like looking at a dead man. Chapter 1658. The Skeleton King is instantly killed. When Lin Moyu saw the yellow eye, his heart skipped a beat. This is the yellow sand beast's eye. Back then, it not only left behind its heart, but also its eye. Lin Moyu could tell with just one glance that the yellow sand beast's eye wasn't an illusion but a real existence. The yellow sand beast's eye swept across the heavens and earth. The yellow sand on the planet seemed to solidify for a moment, and Lin Moyu felt like he was stuck in a swamp, making it incredibly difficult to move. Not only was it difficult for him to move, but the skeleton god generals, legion overlords, and even the skeleton king were also stuck in the swamp. A powerful force surged from all directions, firmly trapping them. This wasn't some abnormal state, but a pure power blockade, and even spells that granted status immunity were useless. The eye of a transcendent realm beast was actually this powerful. If it were to revive, what kind of state would it reach? It could probably kill him with just a glance. Lin Moyu had a new understanding of the powerhouses in the transcendent realm. If God Venerate to God King was a leap, then transcendent realm to God Venerate was a flight, and a very long flight at that. The energy fluctuations became increasingly chaotic, and the sand beasts were about to self-destruct. Move, move, Lin Moyu's body surged with vast soul power. The eye of the soul opened, and his whole body was filled with purple light, as the power of the soul began to interfere with reality. The soul shooting bow appeared above his head, and soul power was injected into it, as the soul shooting bow condensed a purple arrow. A streak of purple light flashed, shooting towards the yellow sand beast's eye. A sharp cry rang out in his ears. The yellow sand beast's eye contained the yellow sand beast's soul, but it wasn't a complete soul, only a part of it. The soul was injured by the attack of the soul shooting bow. Lin Moyu felt his body lighten, and the blockade instantly disappeared. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Moyu took a step back and instantly retreated back into the formation. The skeleton god generals and legion overlords also retreated. They weren't recalled, but instead stood outside the formation, enveloping the entire time formation. Layers of golden armor stacked up, forming the first line of defense. The energy fluctuations reached their limit, and the self-destruction was about to occur. From the elite-level sand beasts spewing out beams of light until now, no more than 2 seconds had passed. Everything changed in an instant. Lin Moyu had done his best, and he could only leave the rest to fate. Boom! The sound of the explosion was isolated by the formation, but the power of the self-destruction could still be felt. Yellow sand soared into the sky, countless grains of sand rushed into the sky in the explosion. The ground sank, revealing the true surface of the planet, slightly whitish rock. If it weren't for the yellow sand covering it, this planet should have been a grayish-white planet. The force of the self-destruction crashed over, and the golden armor bore the brunt of the impact and shattered. Layers of armor exploded under the impact of the explosion, followed by the undead legion behind the armor. Without the protection of the golden armor runes, the skeleton god generals were torn to pieces, and a large number of skeleton god generals died instantly. But in the next instant, the skeleton god generals were reborn, and once again endured the explosion. The self-destruction of a god lord is extremely terrifying. If a god lord self-destructs in a galaxy, it is enough to destroy the entire galaxy. Its power far exceeds that of a star's self-destruction. Now, with more than 20 god lords self-destructing collectively, the power is even more unimaginable. If the planet under their feet had not been modified by the power of the other shore realm, it would have been shattered long ago. The force of the explosion rushed out of the planet, and even the yellow sand flowing in the galaxy was dispersed by the explosion. The explosion lasted for a minute, and the energy began to weaken and dissipate. The skeleton god generals were still surrounding the formation. Except for the disappearance of their golden armor, nothing else seemed to have changed. As the master, Lin Mo could clearly feel that almost every skeleton god general had died 2 or 3 times. After being killed in the explosion, they were resurrected by the undead necromancy. In the explosion, the skeleton god generals acted as meat shields, blocking most of the impact for the Great Time Formation. This also ensured that the Great Time Formation remained intact during the sand beast's self-destruction. Yellow sand flew in the air, but Lin Mo did not feel relieved at all. The eyes of the yellow sand beast had already swept over again. At this moment, a thin film appeared over its eyes, like an extra layer of armor. Lin Mo knew that it was prepared, and his soul-shooting bow would no longer be effective. The beams of light previously emitted by the sand beast converged in the air and then merged into the eyes of the yellow sand beast. The aura of the eyes rapidly increased, and countless yellow sands gathered around the eyes. It first grew a head, then a neck, body, and limbs. Finally, on its forehead, above its single eye, grew a sharp, long horn, resembling a bull's horn. A huge, one-horned beast appeared in the sky. This is the yellow sand beast. The eyes of the yellow sand beast gathered the power of the light beams and used yellow sand to condense its body. It is said that yellow sand originally belonged to the yellow sand beast. It was the yellow sand beast's flesh and blood, and now reassembling the body is no problem. However, Lin Mo also knew that the yellow sand beast in front of him was not a complete body. It only had the form of the yellow sand beast, and its power was far inferior to that of another shore realm yellow sand beast. The yellow sand beast in the sky roared, its horn flashing with yellow light, and its aura grew stronger and stronger. In the blink of an eye, its aura had reached the 9th rank of God Lord, only one step away from the true peak of God Lord. A river of laws appeared in the sky, and the river of laws was also filled with rolling yellow sand, as if countless sandstorms were taking place. Since the yellow sand beast was formed, the beating of the heart became more intense again, and the hall began to shake and tremble again. It couldn't wait to escape the suppression and return to its body. As long as the heart returns, it can truly be resurrected. The constant vibration of the heart put great pressure on the God Lords. They tried their best to control the formation and suppress it. They couldn't take action, the only one who could was Lin Mo. The corners of Lin Mo's mouth were a little bitter. It seems I have to fight desperately. Stepping out of the formation, he pointed a finger. The undying flames burned again, and yellow sand flew into the flames, like pouring water into a cave, crackling non-stop. The skeleton throne and skeleton king appeared one by one. The skeleton king had just been killed in the sand beast's self-destruction. But it didn't matter much. If it was killed, then summon another one. As soon as the skeleton king appeared, the yellow sand beast looked over. In its cold and ruthless eyes, there was even a hint of disdain. A yellow light flashed across its horn, and a yellow lightning bolt streaked across. The skeleton king had no time to dodge and was struck directly. With a bang, the skeleton king completely collapsed and was instantly killed, unable to withstand it at all. As the gap so big, Lin Mo was a little helpless. The power of the 9th rank of God Lord was too strong, and the skeleton king couldn't withstand it at all. If a single entity doesn't work, then rely on numbers like before. The Legion ruler took the lead, the river of laws flickered, and tens of millions of death knights and tens of millions of bone dragons flew out of the river of laws one after another. The undead legion instantly occupied all the space, and the yellow sand beast was heavily surrounded. Anyway, he couldn't win. Lin Mo knew very well that all he could do now was delay. Delay until reinforcements arrive. The yellow sand beast roared, and its horn shot out a bright yellow lightning bolt. Chapter 1659. Must drag it out to the end no matter what. The bright yellow lightning bolt darted around in the undead legion with great power. Even with tens of millions of times of damage reduction, it still exceeded the limit of damage sharing. Talent lost its effect against the yellow lightning. Whether it was a death knight or a bone dragon, as long as it touched the bright yellow lightning, it would collapse in an instant. The power of the lightning was too great to be resisted. And the most troublesome thing was that the lightning would automatically seek out the next target, quickly transferring to the next target after destroying one target. The lightning's speed was extremely fast, comparable to the speed of light. Before the previous one had collapsed, the lightning had already attacked hundreds or thousands of targets. Looking from a distance, a bright yellow chain appeared in the undead legion, and the chain was made up of afterimages of lightning. In less than a second, more than 10,000 undead legion were killed. Very strong attack. There seems to be a trace of the power of rules in it. It is indeed a star beast of the other shore realm. Lin Mo watched this scene. He knew he couldn't stop it. Now he can only rely on the advantage of numbers to delay. As for how long he can delay, he is not sure. He calculated the time, and reinforcements will arrive in another 40 minutes. He must drag it out for these 40 minutes no matter what. The horn of the yellow sand beast lit up again, and another lightning bolt flew out. 2 lightning bolts ravaged the undead legion, and the killing speed increased exponentially. Lin Mo had a bad feeling in his heart. If it was just one lightning bolt, he wouldn't be worried. He has enough undead legion for the opponent to kill. 2 lightning bolts are also acceptable. If there is a third, fourth lightning bolt, no matter how many undead legion he has, it won't be enough for the opponent to kill. And if he is not careful, the yellow sand beast may have other means. The star beast of the other shore realm, even an eye is so terrifying. I can't sit still and wait for death, I must turn passivity into initiative. There are still 40 minutes, I must drag it out. Lin Mo knew his goal very well, to drag it out for 40 minutes. But he also knew very well that with his combat power, it was impossible to confront the yellow sand beast. Relying on the advantage of numbers may be able to drag it out, but it is not completely safe. If the lightning continues to increase, no matter how many undead legion there are, it will not be enough to kill. Once the number of undead legion is not enough to surround the yellow sand beast, if the yellow sand beast rushes out, he will be in danger. All possibilities must be taken into account. Lin Mo had a headache, he realized that this was an extremely difficult battle. The yellow sand beast has considerable intelligence, and it has made full preparations. If he hadn't suddenly killed his way out, it would have already escaped. He had become a variable, but it seemed that the yellow sand beast would not give up easily. The battle had reached this point, and for the yellow sand beast, it was a do-or-die gamble. If it failed, and the human race's ***********, other shore realm experts arrived, it would have no chance to escape. Lin Moyu could imagine that both sides had reasons not to fail, and their wills were extremely firm. Since that was the case, they could only fight to the end. He quickly organized a set of tactics in his mind, and at the same time, the undead lich appeared beside him. Grey halos appeared under the feet of all the undead, giving them an extra chance to be resurrected. In the few seconds that Lin Moyu pondered, the yellow sand beast's horn shot out another bolt of lightning. 3 bright yellow bolts of lightning raged through the undead army, killing a large number of undead every moment. The undead army closest to the yellow sand beast had died several times, exceeding the resurrection opportunities provided by the undead and undead liches. They truly died and could no longer be resurrected. Death Knights and Bone Dragons bore the brunt, and their positions were quickly filled by those who followed. The undead army still firmly surrounded the yellow sand beast, absolutely preventing it from breaking through. The skeleton god generals scattered and transformed back into the 3 basic skeletons. Here, the skeleton god general's combat power had no effect. What Lin Moyu needed was quantity, the more the better. Lin Moyu pointed into the void, and brand new bone dragons and death knights appeared in the void. The number of bone dragons and death knights that had died had exceeded 500,000, and needed to be replenished. The spell linkage was activated. Lin Moyu only needed to summon once, and before the summoning quota was used up, the summoning would continue without him intervening. However, the speed of summoning was far behind the speed at which the undead army was killed. It could only be said that it was better than not summoning at all. Using the undead army as meat shields to block the yellow sand beast was only the first step. Then Lin Moyu began the second step. He took out a piece of flesh, which was from the 3 Silver Clan God Lord. It was also his only piece of God Lord flesh. Although he knew it wouldn't be of much use, he still thought it was better than nothing. Locking onto the yellow sand beast, he pointed out with a finger, and red light filled the air. Fusion spell, time curse. The curse was activated, but the yellow sand beast didn't feel much. With its soul level, the curse had little effect. Lin Moyu naturally knew this, he just wanted to increase some damage, even if only a little. Then, light flashed on his finger, original spell, strengthen troops. Lin Moyu activated the original spell again, increasing his damage by an additional 10 times. Stellar spell, corpse explosion. The flesh in his hand turned to ashes, and the corpse was detonated, equivalent to the full blow of the 3 Silver Clan God Lord before his death, and its power was increased tenfold. The power of this blow was almost at the 4th level of the God Lord. But facing the yellow sand beast, it was still not enough. In the violent explosion, the yellow sand beast remained motionless, only some sand fell from its body, nothing more. The corpse explosion had little effect. This result was also expected and not surprising. Just as Lin Moyu launched the attack, the yellow sand beast shot out another bolt of lightning. 4 bolts of lightning danced endlessly, and the damage speed of the undead army increased again. Lin Moyu was expressionless, and the soul shooting bow appeared above his head. This time, with the blessing of the strengthened troop state, the damage of the soul-shooting bow would also be increased tenfold. Not only that, Lin Moyu whispered, and opened another original spell, gathering power. His aura rose sharply, quickly breaking through the God Lord, then God Lord first level, second level, straight to the third level. Breaking through to the God Lord third level was also Lin Moyu's limit. Lin Moyu knew that if he dared to break through the God Lord fourth level, his soul would instantly collapse. The soul power of the God Lord third level was injected into the soul-shooting bow, and a purple golden arrow condensed on the soul-shooting bow. The arrow exuded a pressing aura, and the powerful soul pressure filled the audience, even the formation was difficult to resist. Those God Kings in the formation were all silent. Lin Moyu's power had long exceeded their imagination and was completely beyond their comprehension. Is this really something a God King can do? God King fighting God Lord, am I dreaming? How did he do it? How could he be so powerful? Unprecedented. Lin Moyu was unaware of their exclamations. At this moment, all his energy was poured into one arrow. Chapter 1660, Terrifying Soul Arrow. Through the original spell, he raised his realm to the limit. He injected as much soul power as possible into the soul-shooting bow and condensed the strongest arrow. The soul realm of *Pyongyang***, other shore realm, the soul power of the third level of the God Lord, and the tenfold damage increase of the original spell. Combined, even a powerhouse at the fifth level of the God Lord would be killed by this arrow. But this was not enough, this was not the final appearance of this arrow. The power of faith rolled out and was invested in it as if it were free. The most magical thing about the power of faith is that it can amplify any spell, any law, any attack. When 10,000 portions of the power of faith were invested in it, the power of the soul arrow doubled again. When 30,000 portions of the power of faith were invested in it, the power of the soul arrow had doubled. When all 60,000 portions of the power of faith were invested in it, the power of the soul arrow increased threefold. The more amplification, the more power of faith is needed. 60,000 portions of the power of faith at least made the soul arrow 3 times stronger. And it was still calculated on the basis of the original spell's amplification. The purple golden soul arrow became more dazzling and dazzling. Looking at the soul arrow, it felt like looking directly at a star at close range. The golden lines on it were extremely beautiful, and at the same time, they exuded a murderous aura. 003 But this was still not the end. Lin Moyu drew runes in the air, and complex high-level runes were drawn by him at will. Soul Extinguishing Rune, a high-level rune recorded in Fuyu, rune language aimed at the soul, can cause powerful damage to the soul. It can be used alone, or it can be attached to any kind of soul attack. The rune flew into the soul arrow, and the golden lines on the soul arrow seemed to come alive, and the murderous aura was heavier. In the Great Formation, several God Kings who were watching Lin Moyu screamed. They all cried out in pain, covering their heads, closing their eyes, and blood flowed from their eyes. They looked terrified and dared not look at Lin Moyu again. What kind of arrow is this, so terrifying? I just looked at it and felt like my soul was about to be pierced. This arrow is too terrifying, even a God Lord can be easily killed. He is clearly only at the 5th level of the God King, how could he condense such a terrifying arrow momentum? He is using a soul magic weapon of the God Lord realm, and he has also added the power of faith. More than that, he also added runes. I see it as a high-level rune. He can urge the soul magic weapon of the God Lord realm. His soul is at least of the 4th rank. As long as this guy does not die, it is easy to achieve the God Lord. The God Kings present were completely convinced by Lin Mo at this moment. He possessed a powerful soul, powerful spells, powerful magical treasures, and also new runes, along with astonishing belief power. Lin Mo's performance was almost perfect. Such a person's future achievements were limitless, simply not something they could compare to. None of the God Kings or minor God Sovereigns present could harbor any jealousy towards Lin Mo. Because Lin Mo had completely surpassed them, they couldn't even bring themselves to be jealous. The powerful soul arrow truly took shape, arguably Lin Mo's strongest strike. If this strike still didn't work, Lin Mo would have no other good options. The soul locked onto the yellow sand beast, and under the undead legion's reckless and suicidal siege, the yellow sand beast was firmly trapped, unable to escape. The 5th lightning bolt appeared, and 5 bright yellow lightning bolts rampaged together, killing countless undead legion members every second. But immediately, more undead Legion members would fill the gap, leaving no space at all. The yellow sand beast was covered with fearless skeletons. Although their attacks had no effect, they continued relentlessly, falling like raindrops. Even if I can't kill you, I'll let you know what pain is. Lin Mo pointed his finger, and the bone hell descended, enveloping the yellow sand beast. Bright yellow lightning raged in the bone hell, and in less than half a second, the bone hell was pierced through. But it didn't matter, all Lin Mo wanted was a mark. The bone hell marked the yellow sand beast, and the soul followed, locking on. In this way, this arrow from the soul piercer bow was guaranteed to hit. The yellow sand beast seemed to sense the threat, and its eyes revealed unease. A purplish golden light cut through the void, pierced through the yellow sand beast, and pierced into its soul. An earth-shattering scream echoed throughout the entire star system. The yellow sand that flowed endlessly throughout the star system suddenly paused. This arrow was too strong and too fierce. Lin Mo used all his trump cards, making this arrow enough to kill a rank 6 God Sovereign cultivator. As long as the soul hadn't reached the other shore realm, it would be injured or even killed by this arrow. The yellow sand beast was once another shore realm beast, and its soul was undoubtedly in the other shore realm as well. In its prime, it could completely ignore Lin Mo's arrow. But that wasn't possible now. The current yellow sand beast was far from its former self, and its soul was just a remnant. This arrow caused it enough damage, causing it immense pain, and its aura weakened in an instant. The bright yellow lightning stopped in midair, and 2 of the 5 lightning bolts shattered on the spot. The other 3 no longer attacked, shining in midair. It worked. Lin Mo was overjoyed. Then let's do it again. His aura instantly rose, breaking through to rank 4 God Sovereign. Then his soul suddenly collapsed, the talent giant tree swayed, the talent activated, and Lin Mo instantly completed soul reconstruction in the purple light, returning to his peak. Actively seeking death once, replenishing his soul power. Lin Mo didn't hesitate to use the source spell again, pulling himself back to rank 3 God Sovereign. Repeating the process, the second soul arrow appeared in the soul piercer bow. Lin Mo drew a soul extinguishing rune and added it to the soul arrow, but unfortunately, there was no belief power this time, and this arrow was not as powerful as the previous one. But similarly, the yellow sand beast was already injured at this moment, and it was not as strong as before. The purplish golden soul arrow once again cut through the void, directly hitting the yellow sand beast's soul. Another scream, and the yellow sand beast's aura became even weaker. The remaining 3 lightning bolts shattered 2 more, leaving only 1 now. Lin Mo took a deep breath. Now that things had come to this, he had no way out, he had to kill it completely. Lin Mo once again raised his realm, actively self-destructing his soul. The talent activated again, resurrecting Lin Mo for the second time. Since refining the undying tree sapling, he had 1 more chance to resurrect. He could resurrect twice every 30 seconds, and after the last resurrection, the talent would reset, and he would have 2 more resurrection chances. The ability to resurrect was generally only used when desperate. But now, in order to defeat the yellow sand beast, Lin Mo resolutely used it. He was really giving it his all, going all out. In the source spell, Lin Mo's aura once again rose to rank 3 God Sovereign. The soul piercer bow recondensed the soul arrow. The yellow sand beast's eyes pierced through the heavily surrounded undead legion and saw Lin Mo. Its eyes were full of anger and hatred. But so what, Lin Mo didn't care at all. The soul arrow took shape on the soul piercer bow, and the yellow sand beast suddenly let out a roar. All the yellow sand on the planet swirled up, and the entire planet was shrouded in a sandstorm. The yellow sand beast exploded, and one eye flew into the sandstorm and disappeared. It escaped. You can't escape. The soul arrow flashed with a purple light and disappeared into the void.